A few more days to try and vote Michael Young into the All-Star game in Anaheim. Already 5 Rangers know they're going. Michael hopes to be the 6th, and your vote counts. It's the Rangers tonight, opening a series with the Cleveland Indians, a team they haven't seen since back in April, a team that struggled to a record of 32-49. We welcome you to Texas Ranger Baseball tonight. And along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. The Rangers yesterday coming up a little bit short. They're still up 3.5 games on the Angels right now. That's good. And also good is Julio Bourbon is starting to find that power stroke.
No doubt about it. Julio got off to a little bit of a slow start as the leadoff hitter, but he's blossomed as the 9th place hitter. He hit close to 360 in the month of June, and in almost his last 200 at-bats, he's hitting close to 320. He's really making it happen at the bottom of the lineup.
Well, yesterday with the home run off a lefty, and, they said that Bourbon can't hit lefties. He's now hitting lefties.
Yeah, well, he's just swinging the bat well right now. And I think when you're a big league hitter and you're hot, it doesn't matter whether the pitcher's throwing right-handed or left-handed. You're swinging the bat well, you're going to get your hits.
Those 2 homers against the Indians were in the same game last September, and Julio right back out there tonight against a lefty. The Rangers taking on the Indians, and Josh Hamilton, speaking of lefties, swinging the hot bat of late as well. He had that incredible month of June. July not half bad yet. He had the home run yesterday along with that of Julio Bourbon. The Rangers and the Tribe are coming up when we come back. By Jack in the Box and by Southwest Airlines. We have a 91-degree July the 5th as the Rangers and the Cleveland Indians play ball tonight. And there is big Omar Beltre making his first home start. We are underway with that one. Ball 1 to Michael Bradley. The 235-pound Omar Beltre. He'll pour one in there, and we scout out the Dominican.
Wednesday against the Angels, only 4 innings, threw a lot of pitches, walked 4 behind the hitters, but he threw the ball well. Had good stuff. He was just a little overamped in his first major league start, and who can blame him? Well, he comes right out throwing strikes here, ahead in the count 1-2. 15 games at Oklahoma. He had 5 starts. They went really well. Only 37 2/3 innings this year at AAA, but 44 strikeouts. His last start at AAA, he had 5 innings. And so he's still getting stretched out. Most pitches he'd thrown, I think, in AAA was somewhere around 55 or 60. Threw more than that in his last start. And he, big, strong kid. He should be fine today.
One thing the Indians do, and we've seen this from them no matter who their personnel is the last few years, Tom, is they take. They're a very patient team. Manny Acta, the first-year manager for the Tribe, kind of inherited that dynamic, and it hasn't changed. We're looking at Brantley, who's hitting just 139. He's pretty much taken everything thrown to him until now, and he lines it into the glove of Michael Young on a hot, great play, run down.
Almost the same play he made last night in the 6th inning against A.J. Pierzynski. Looked like the Rangers were going to get out of that inning. Unfortunately, Alexi Ramirez, the next hitter, hit a home run, slicing rope to third base. That's a nice play by Michael. Not an easy play by any means.
And the campaign continues to try to get Michael to his 7th consecutive All-Star game. The voting is open. The polls are open until 3 o'clock on Thursday the 8th. Go to TexasRangers.com or MLB.com and you'll be walked through the process. Right now, Nick Swisher of the Yankees, 1 day into the balloting tag, has the lead for that final spot. Native Texan Jason Nix, brother of former Ranger Lance Nix, at the plate here for Cleveland. If indeed you like Mike, that is where you can go and what you can do. TexasRangers.com/All-Star. By the way, Bob Davidson is your home plate umpire tonight, veteran. With Tim Cheetah at first, also a veteran. Actually, at second base is Tim Cheetah. Chris Guccione and Tim Timmons elsewhere on the bases. Now, you mentioned the start for Beltre on the road in Anaheim. That's the only game the Rangers won on that little 3-game road trip. Pretty close to a 1-to-1 ratio of balls and strikes, and I think nerves had, I agree with you, Tom, a lot to do with that. There's the walk to Nix. Check the rest of their lineup while we have the opportunity. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Carlos Santana is really emerging for them. Up from AAA, he's hitting .300. Former Ranger Travis Hafner hits cleanup. These guys are a shell of their former selves. A lot of injuries. Austin Kearns is batting 5th, and it's Peralta, Laporta, Crow, and Donald. Their top 3 hitters in their opening day lineup are all on the DL. As Drupal Cabrera, Grady Sizemore, and now Shin-Soo Choo. Choo was the guy who wore the Rangers out back in April. He was 7 out of 10 in that series, had a game-winning hit.
They had that big home run to win the game. Matt Harrison is pitching a fantastic game. Some pretty good players to have. Actually, their 3 best players.
Yeah, even
on the disabled list.
I was going to say, I mean, even if they had those guys, this would be a challenging year. Now they don't have them. They have managed to win 6 of their last 8, and that has been, as we discussed in the open, the pitching. 2.1 ERA the last 8 games for the Indians. That is the best in the major leagues.
Well, this was a fantastic trade for Cleveland. They traded Casey Blake, good player, but not a part of their future, to the Dodgers, and picked up a building block for the future with this kid. That's a trade you don't expect to be able to make very often.
We've seen the Indians thrive with a switch hitting catcher batting 3rd. That's Victor Martinez. And a lot of favorable comparisons with Victor Martinez for Carlos Santana. Native Dominicans facing each other here. Beltre to Santana, missing down and outside. That is Benji Molina catching at Beltrade tonight. Fourth straight game that Benji's had the assignment to be the Ranger catcher. Ever since he's arrived, all he's done is play. High fly ball towards center. Won't even get there. Andrus on the skin of that infielder for out number 2. The rest of the Ranger defense. Left to right in the outfield, it is Hamilton, Bourbon, and Cruz tonight. 2 All-Stars up the middle, Andrus and Kinsler. And again, Benji Molina gets that catching assignment tonight.
That's a good out for Beltre right there. He fell behind in the count. Came back and got him to pop up. And just because he's got 1 game under his belt doesn't mean the kid's not nervous again, pitching at home for the first time.
And you know you're in the big leagues when you're facing this guy, Travis Hafner. Kronk for Project Donkey. Still one of the best nicknames going right there. He had 4 straight seasons of 100 runs batted in or more not too long ago. Then he had 73 runs batted in 08 and 09 combined. Of course, they had a great big power hitting lefty DHing for them not too long ago in Jim Thome, popular player. He's now with the Indians division rival Minnesota. That's one of the teams that Hafner grew up rooting for, was Minnesota. He's from a little town in North Dakota, which neighbors Minnesota. They're watching back at the Wild Mustang Bar in Sykeston, North Dakota tonight to follow their guy, Travis Hafner. Rip and a miss. Beltre dialed it down.
Oh, good off-speed pitches. Pitch before it was a changeup. 2-1 pitch. Back-to-back changeups. Had Hafner way out in front of it. Definitely trying to keep the ball away from Hafner. One thing you've got going if you're Beltre tonight is you're just going to rely on Benji Molina. Whatever he calls, you're going to throw it.
The guy's won a World Series. Been in the league 13 years, knows what he's doing for sure. Hafner rips.
3 straight changes.
Yeah, and Hafner didn't touch that one. The first strikeout of the night for Beltre. The Rangers now with Andrus, Young, and Kinsler coming up when we return. Rangers will have Andrus leading off, followed by Young and Kinsler. We'll check that entire Southwest Airlines lineup for you. After Kinsler, it's Guerrero and Hamilton. They are 4th and 5th in the league in hitting. Nelly Cruz is 6th, and Molina, Smoke, and Bourbon. And a lefty that the Rangers have seen before. This is Aaron Laffey, the Cumberland, Maryland native, and here's the scouting report.
Yeah, most of his appearances this year have been in relief. He was sent back to the minor leagues to get stretched out as a starter. His last start, his second start since coming back, was a real good one against Toronto. 1 earned run in 6 innings. Got the win in that start. His other was a loss to Cincinnati. The kid that came out of high school is a 16th round draft choice.
He has not fared well against the Rangers at all. Last time we saw him, he was giving up 7 runs on 12 hits last September. He was 0-6 in September last year.
Boy, that's tough to do.
That is really tough to do. His ERA jumped from 3.3 to 4.4 because of that month. And this year, kind of back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation. That win that you mentioned, Tom, against Toronto, his first in about 11 months.
Against the Rangers have had 34 hits in 16 2/3 innings against him.
So we welcome him with open arms to the ballpark tonight.
And if he's going to pitch well, he's going to have to pitch like Mark Burley. He's not a hard thrower. He's going to have to change speeds, use both sides of the plate, have good command of his pitches.
Chop to third, and Johnny Peralta gets it across to Matt Laporta. We're going to show you the Indians' defense, and tell me honestly how many of these names you really recognize. Carlos Santana is the catcher. And again, it's just youth on parade for the Indians right now.
Yeah, the veterans in the lineup, Johnny Peralta used to be their shortstop. He's been around, been a good player for them. Austin Kearns has been around for a while. Other than that, though, a lot of first-year players.
A lot of hello, my name is name tags for most of the rest of America. The Indians know they've got to take their time growing this thing back to where they like it. Ranger fans love that the Rangers have kind of done the same thing, and they feel like they're already there. 3.5 games up in the West, 48-33 at the halfway mark. Michael Young, line shot right to second, 2 down. At the halfway point, you play that fun game, I guess, Tag, where you double everything and say, all right, that's what the end of the year could look like if you just do in the first half. Once again, Young, for example, would have his 22 homers and 100 runs batted in. Vladdy would go 36/140. And he would be the comeback player of the year.
And the one reason why, I mean, we all do that. One reason why it's not totally accurate is because you're not playing the same teams in the second half. We're going to play the Angels a lot more in the second half, and their pitchers are a lot better than whoever the pitchers were that we won't be facing in the second half. And so, you know, you look at the schedule after the All-Star break. Detroit, going to see Justin Verlander. Going to Boston right after the break. You're going to see John Lester. Got to play the Yankees again. I got a feeling the pitching in the second half is going to be better than the pitching in the first half. I think the schedule in the second half is tougher. Not as many off days.
Right now, the Rangers are in a stretch. They're playing 7 in a row at home against the 2 last-place teams in the East and the Central. Now, obviously, these are still Major League teams. They can still beat you with their best effort, but the schedule absolutely gets tougher when this 7 games is done. At Boston and at Detroit out of the All-Star break is a good example. There's another walk for Kinsler. 8 straight games with at least 1.
You know how many games the Rangers have left against the Angels. They got 7 games left against Minnesota. They go to Tampa Bay for 4 games. They've got the Yankees and the Red Sox in the series at home. Oakland has good pitching. Seattle has good pitching. So offensively, it's going to be a good challenge for the hitters. Fortunately, we've got good hitters. They'll be up to that challenge. But the pitching is going to have to be good in the second half.
Vladdy was 70 runs batted in, and has had just torrid stretches this year at times. We just saw that in Anaheim. Well, he was a one-man wrecking crew for 2 games. At the stretch here earlier this year, 3 homers on 4 swings at one point.
You know, you mentioned Ian, another walk. He's now walked 36 times, struck out 33 times. That's in only 214 at bats. His on base percentage now is .405.
That's the biggest improvement we've seen from Ian Kinsler. Last year he had about 20 more strikeouts than walks. The on base percentage tag was .327 a year ago.
Yeah, to me, I think he's a better hitter right now than he was last year, even with all the home runs last year. His home runs will come, not maybe as many as last year, but if you're a .400 on base percentage guy, you're a good hitter. Not many of those around.
Yeah, 30 home run hitters have kind of become dime a dozen, even lately. Now that the baseball players are all not, you know, busting out of their uniforms anymore. A lot of guys can still hit 30, but that .400 on base percentage, that's kind of a holy grail. Tap towards second base. Jason Nix will take care of business, and the Rangers do not score. 0-0, end of 1.
Yes. Lena Pope Home is an organization that's been around for a very long time. We create hope, happiness, and success for kids and families in Fort Worth through a number of different services, including counseling and alternative education.
All right, there you go. You see the number and everything on the screen for those who want to get a part of that. You see the information. Go ahead and give them a call. Thank you, Suzanne, for all you do. And thank you very much for the cotton candy. There you go, Suzanne. Take it back to your seat there. There you go. Josh.
Thank you very much, Jim. Austin Kearns at the plate against Omar Feltre, the hard-throwing righty. A 5-3 loss yesterday for the Rangers, their second such loss in that Chicago series. Both nights there were fireworks and huge crowds. It was a 5-3 loss, unfortunately. Scott Feldman last night failing to hold leads of 2-1 and 3-2. Off speed, good pitch, 2-2 to Kearns.
He's done a good job early in the game of throwing something other than his fastball in a fastball count. Hasn't had great command of his fastball yet. He's had good movement on it, though.
Back to Beltre, he's got it. 1 up, 1 away here in the top of the second inning. Ranger fans, the Rangers are hot. It's getting hotter, so beat the heat. Cool off with a $1 any size soft drink or sweet tea at McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And tag back to that game yesterday. Didn't help that the Rangers only had one at bat all night with runners in scoring position. They relied on the long ball to score. Bourbon with a solo, Hamilton a 2-run shot, but that was it.
Well, you know, there's some games, Josh, where you face a top pitcher who's throwing the ball really well, and you get 3 runs, and you say, hey, 3 runs has to stand up tonight.
Yep.
You know, we've got to win this game with 3 runs, and you can't get 5 or 6 runs every game. You have to win some games 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. And that was one of those games last night. You have to give it to Burley. Other than the home runs, he held the Rangers down, and the White Sox have an excellent bullpen. So it's going to be tough to score against them.
Yeah, Burley didn't walk anybody, didn't strike out anybody, but his defense just kept making every play.
Yeah, that's the Angels. They haven't scored in 5 or 6 innings tonight against them. That's Gavin Floyd. They've got a good rotation and a good bullpen.
Hot team right now, even hotter than the Rangers. Peralta sails one to right field. Nelson Cruz has the range, though. He's got it. Disappointing, though, and I'm sure Scott Feldman would be the first to say he's disappointed in it, that both times the Rangers scored. The White Sox came right back.
Yeah, and I think one thing that would probably bother Scott, there was one time it happened, it was a leadoff walk that ended up coming around to score.
Then Alexi Ramirez with the game-breaking 2-run, 2-out homer. Ball 1 to Matt Laporta. And since they've dealt Russ Branyan back to Seattle, Laporta's pretty much a full-time first baseman. He was a key player in that CC Sabathia trade. Sabathia went over to Milwaukee. And since they've called him back up from AAA, things have clicked. His first 36 games, that's what got him sent down to Columbus. Now they bring him back up, and he is off and running. More balls and strikes so far for Beltre. In fact, it is now 20 versus 14. And that was the early problem in that start he had in Anaheim as well.
The pitch that he's having a hard time commanding is a sinker. He's only thrown a couple of strikes with his fastball. Unfortunately, he's gotten a couple of outs with him, too.
Beltre only made one spring training appearance. He had a little bit of a sore shoulder, and they were being careful with him. So for the broadcasters, and certainly for these Cleveland Indians, this is an unknown commodity for a little while. Everybody's kind of learning on the fly about what Omar Beltre is all about. When it's pitcher versus hitter for the first time, Tag, that usually favors the pitcher, do you figure?
I think it does. Just because the hitter's never seen him before, you can watch him on film all you want, but till you get out there and see how the ball moves, how sharp his breaking ball is, I think the pitcher has an advantage right off the bat. Especially if it's a pitcher with good off-speed pitching. You know, Beltre struck out Hafner, threw him 3 straight changeups. That's the first time Hafner's seen him. And so I think in that, especially in that particular instance, it was a huge advantage for Beltre.
Slowly hit. Michael Young's going to charge. Bare hand pickup, no play. 2-out infield hit for Trevor Crowe is the first hit of the game either way.
That ball jammed him so bad it almost stopped rolling before it got to the infield dirt.
With this thick, lush carpet here, it's not exactly going to speed its way towards Young or Andrews.
Not much you can do on that. Big swing, and that's what happened. Base hit.
Sure doesn't look like a hit off the bat like that, right?
No, and then you see how slowly it's hit, and you go, uh-oh, I don't think anyone can get to it. Crowe runs pretty well before he got to first base.
Jason Donald taking down and in. Another guy brought in because of a big trade, big name trade, the Cliff Lee deal, going the other way from the Philadelphia Phillies. And of course, there's a lot of hot talk right now that there will be another Cliff Lee deal in the next 2, 3, or 4 weeks. I guess the Rangers have to hope it's more like within the next 3 or 4 weeks. If it happens within the next 2 weeks, the Rangers probably not equipped to be making a deal like that.
Yeah, I think if there's not a Cliff Lee trade before the trade deadline, that'll be one of the biggest shocks of the trade deadline deals that are made.
Oh, remember we heard about Roy Halladay was going to be moved, and we heard it for weeks last July, and then as it turned out, the Blue Jays didn't like the deals that were out there, and they just kept him.
Yeah, the difference was they had Roy Halladay the next year, too. Seattle doesn't have Cliff Lee next year. They've got to make the trade now.
It would seem to make sense, no doubt. The Mariners are not going anywhere this year. 34-47. Pretty close to the record that this Cleveland team has right now. And Lee continues to be a highly asked about, highly sought after commodity. Rolled foul by Donald.
If you're holding on to a player like Cliff Lee right now and you're not a contender, you got a decision to make. Can you make a trade that brings you more in return than the 2 draft choices you would get if the player played out the season, became a free agent, and you got the compensation fixed on him? Usually you can. You definitely get players that are closer to the big leagues.
Towards right, it's shallow. Nelly Cruz couldn't hold it. And a run's going to score. Kinsler seemed like he had a beat on it, but he peeled away so Cruz could pursue it, and Nelly just could not scoop it cleanly.
I think that's the worst run of the year right there. A walk, a 22-foot jam shot dribbler, and basically a broken bat blooper over second.
From the bottom of the order, 3 guys who were in Columbus not too long ago, and that was in Nelly's glove. Easier play for him, though, right? Because he's coming forward and Kinsler's going backwards.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, that's a shame to score on that. After 2 outs, nobody on.
Hit him in the heel of the glove and just rolled off. Now it's first and third for the top of the order, Brantley. Kind of reminds you of how the Pittsburgh Pirates series started, you know? A team that came in with less than glowing credentials overall, but they scored early. The Rangers rallied to win that game and a couple more against the Pirates. That was in the middle of that 11-game win streak.
When you look back to 2 quick outs, he gets Kearns and Peralta, and then walks Laporta on 4 pitches, and now you find yourself making your 44th pitch. He's right kind of where he was in Anaheim as far as pitch count goes. Instead of getting out of the inning with 35 or 36 pitches, you're going to be maybe closer to 50 pitches depending on what happens right here. The 2-out walk was certainly something you don't like to see.
And scoring runs without an extra base hit, that's something the White Sox were doing for 3 days just before they left town. You mentioned the White Sox playing the Angels tonight. Runner going from first. Benji Molina fires. There's a tag, not in time. Tim Cheetah right there and says that is a steal for Jason Donald. That's his first one since coming up from the minors. Nominal base stealing numbers in the past in the minors for Donald. His career high is 12. As a Batavia muck dog back in 2006. That's his first in the big leagues. Meantime, the count 2-0 to Brantley. Again, Wash's team 3.5 up right now. The Angels are losing tonight, 2-1 in the fifth. Another home run for Alexei Ramirez in that one for Chicago. 3-1. And again, more balls and strikes right now for Beltre, 25-21. At 91 miles an hour. It was moving a little bit too, and Brantley up over top of it.
Well, that's the thing. If he can command his sinker, he's off to the races, because he's throwing 92, 93. He's got good movement on the ball. The ball tails away from lefties. It sinks. You just got to throw more strikes. You get people out. And the 2 hits this inning weren't hit hard enough to add up to a hit.
That one's outside. He's walked a guy hitting 130. And Jason Nix will come up, not before Mike Maddox heads out to the mound. And again, just to be accurate about everything, you know, I guess the knee-jerk thing to say is, well, you know, it's a rookie and all of that, and, you know, young guys sometimes they have a tough time throwing strikes. But Beltre is 28 years old. He's a year and a half older than Scott Feldman. And there's really nothing in his minor league career that leads you to believe he's got control issues when you look at the walks and strikeouts numbers.
No, but when you come from the background that he came from, and all of a sudden you're pitching in Anaheim in front of 40,000 and back home in front of a hometown crowd in a pennant race, he doesn't have the innings at a high level to give him the experience, to have the confidence, or the lack of nervousness out there to be able to command his pitches the way he wants to. Hopefully he'll develop that quickly, and if he does, you've got a good pitcher, no doubt about it. I love the movement on his sinker, but it's just, you know, it's hard to expect the kid, even though he's 28 years old, to come up here and have the command of a 28-year-old with 400 or 500 innings under his belt. Still a rookie.
That ball guided towards right, and this time Nelson Cruz will make the catch. The Indians threaten for more. They end up with 1. Josh Hamilton's up when we come back. .com/all-star. Cast your vote. Sponsored by Sprint. For each of the first 25 votes who register for Michael, you'll be automatically registered for a chance to win a luxury suite at an upcoming Ranger game. Voting ends at 3 o'clock in the afternoon this coming Thursday. And already headed to the All-Star game as a starter is this guy, Josh Hamilton. Aaron Laffey, the man on the mound, and Hamilton will bop it foul into the crowd. Hamilton a homer off a lefty yesterday. 4 of his last 8 homers have been against left-hand pitching. And you know, Tag is only 6 points off the league lead in batting average now. 5th place, but only 6 points out.
Not surprised, as hot as he's been.
Line shot left field. Ooh, just fouled. So 6 points off the batting average lead, 1 off the home run lead in the majors right now on your forward leaderboard. Bautista is the stunner right there. All those other guys, you figure 20? Yeah, sure. Why not? That ties a career high for Bautista already. Half the season still to go. Josh has been on base 27 games in a row, and he's had a hit in all those games except for 1. That one was the 2-1 loss in Anaheim. And the Rangers are in a bit of a rut right now. They've scored 1, 3, 3, and 3 in their last 4 games. They had 2 weeks straight before that of getting 4 runs at least in every game. But they haven't been to 4 in their last 4.
This is the kind of at-bat that Josh has grown accustomed to over the last couple of months.
Yep.
Battling up there. He's not trying to pull the ball. He's not trying to hit an extra base hit. It's kind of a 2-stroke approach where you shorten your swing, try to hit the ball where it's pitched, try to make contact. He's had a lot of base hits to left field with this kind of an at-bat.
Little bit off the plate. Bob Davidson with the correct call, it would appear. Another foul to the left by Josh.
This is the kind of at-bat you keep spoiling the pitches away, battling up there, and then you hang one, and
yep,
that's the one you turn on. Just kind of keep spoiling the tough ones to hit and hope you get one that's to your liking. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
9th pitch of the at-bat. That one is in. If your average major league pitcher throws, let's say, 1 out of every 10 pitches in a place that he would just prefer not to have thrown it, if you got a 10-pitch at bat, you're going to get that one. Don't know when, but you'll be up there long enough to experience it at some point.
Trying to keep the ball down and away, not a surprise.
Battle of the left-handed numbers 32, Laffey and Hamilton. Josh turns on that one, cranks it towards the dugout. And the 12th pitch of the at-bat will be coming up to a smiling but sweaty Josh Hamilton. Leading in extra base hits and in total bases, too. And it's not like he started out on fire this year. Kind of a pedestrian first 3 weeks. Anything but ever since.
This kind of at bat has to drive a pitcher crazy. Made a lot of tough pitches. Started out the inning with an all right pitch count, and he's bumped it up to 31 pitches already.
13th pitch of this at bat. Got him. Tip your hat. Quite a battle.
Not quite a strike, but in that kind of an at-bat, it's tough to lay off that pitch.
Let's see if, though, maybe that just wore out Aaron Laffey. Remember what happened when Justin Smoke homered in Houston? It was right after a 12-pitch David Murphy at bat. Out against Brian Moeller. Wow, outside corner, strike one.
Well, so far, Laffey's doing a good job of imitating Mark Burley, keeping the ball away from the middle of the plate.
Cruz was at the plate when the game ended yesterday. Took a called third strike. Bit of a drought for Nelson of late. 5 runs batted in his last 12 games. Of course, a lot of times by the time he's up, Josh Hamilton's just cleared the bases right before him. That one drifting outside, 3-1. This is Laffey's first game as a dad. Just became a father for the first time 6 days ago. His son Braden, born on June 29th. Actually, check that, his second game as a dad. He did make that start right after that, June 30th, and got the win. Facing some home run hitters here, but one thing we should point out, Tom, this run of Indians pitching greatness the last week or so. Their entire pitching staff, 1 home run allowed their last 67 innings now.
That's pretty impressive.
They'll be put to the test against these Rangers in this ballpark. Strike 3 taken again by Nelson, just like the end of the game yesterday.
And one thing to remember about that streak is several of the games were against Toronto. They hit home runs. Came back and caught the corner. A little cutter, looked like a ball, and then right at the end it came back and caught the corner.
Benji Molina takes the strike. We've been talking about that one, the 2.1 team ERA over the last 8 games. Their one All-Star representative is a starting pitcher. That's Fausto Carmona, who's only 19th in the league in ERA, but
someone's got to
someone's got to go. It will be Fausto Carmona. Had Shin-Soo Choo stayed healthy, that might have been a halfway decent pick too, but he's got a broken thumb. Two balls, 2 strikes. Justin Smoke will bat next. The Indians getting a run in the top of the inning. All after 2 out. 4 straight men reaching. And the Indians are tagged exactly where they were a year ago at the halfway point. Exact same record, 32-49. Not quite showing the progress they had hoped. Fly ball towards right. There's Kearns, and that's the inning. Aaron Laffey, who has never pitched that well against the Rangers, pitching okay tonight, leading 1-0. and by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Go to att.com for details. Had a nice night for baseball here in Arlington tonight. The Rangers and Indians opening a 3-game series. Josh Lewin, Tom Grieve, Jim Knotts, our roving reporter. The fans are urging, what we are urging, that you vote Michael Young into that All-Star game. Go to TexasRangers.com and your voice will be heard. Omar Beltre giving up a run with 2 out last inning and is at 50 pitches already through 2. Now it's to face the 3-4-5 part of this Cleveland order.
I just can't locate his sinker. It's a good sinker. If he can just aim that for the middle of the plate and let the movement take it to the corners, he's going to do all right. This is not a strong lineup that he's facing tonight.
Although that ball is blasted by Santana. Upper deck to make it 2-0. Caught by an Indians fan up there. And that kid's for real. Carlos Santana. Now better than a 300 hitter. And in 23 big league games, he's got 5 home runs. Remember, Beltre allowed a home run to Eric Ibar in that game against the Angels, first batter he faced. Tonight it's the 12th hitter, Santana. And a guy that was in Double-A all year last year. But they're expecting huge things from him. That's a huge home run. .424 feet, we're told, on that one. Without benefit of a physics professor. Again, Josh Hamilton the other day, a 490-footer, we now know. All-time record for this ballpark. There's another guy that can hit him a long way when he's on, Travis Hafner. The off-speed stuff, though, has been kind of confounding Hafner through 2 at-bats.
That was a pretty good slider right there. He threw it 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm sure Hafner was looking for a fastball, just like Santana was looking for a fastball.
Saw that score bop in there for you. The White Sox now leading 5-1 against the Angels. They're in the 6th in Chicago. These Indians coming off a 5-2 homestand. That included a 4-game sweep of Toronto, a team they had not swept in 15 years. Way outside, 3-2. Beltre taking that slot that Rich Harden was holding down. The Rangers have cycled a few different guys in and out of that. In there. Travis Hafner didn't like it, but he is gone for the 2nd time on strikes.
He's having, again, a hard time commanding his sinker. And so he threw him a breaking ball. Let's take a look at it. Yep, threw him a breaking ball and came back and caught the outside corner. I think he probably felt he had a better chance of throwing that for a strike than he did his sinker. And if he did, Hafner was going to have a hard time hitting it.
Kern swings right away and fouls it. Now 3 walks, 2 strikeouts so far for Beltre. C.J. Wilson, by the way, is your starter tomorrow. 7:05 game. Ooh, inside. Austin Kearns got nailed. It was off speed away right before that. And a fastball right into the body of Austin Kearns. In the tricep. That does not sound pleasant. So now Johnny Peralta, if you're looking for a ground ball double play, this might be your man. It's a lot of ground balls to the left side. Last year, the most of any player in baseball, matter of fact, according to those gurus at Stats Inc. The Rangers have a solid fielding unit over there at third base and short with Young and Andrews. And a guy that really turns the double play well at second with Kinsler. You have a feeling the Rangers will get their hits tonight. But you got to make sure the Indians don't get too many too early. They're up 2-0. RBI single from Jason Donald and a home run from Carlos Santana. A former Cleveland Indian is Ron Washington. It's among the teams that he played for in the big leagues. Wash was there in 1988 and finished his big league career with the Astros in '89. Tried to make it as a Ranger in 1990. But he never did get out of AAA. He was with the Oklahoma City team all year. And then it was on to be a coach. On the ground, left side indeed, but foul. Wash actually got his coaching career going in the Mets organization, and the first time he was a manager was at Single A for them in 1993 and 94. And the next time he was a manager, it was with these Texas Rangers. All those years as a big league coach with the A's. In that White Sox-Angels game, Tom Carlos Quentin, a home run to go with that of Alexei Ramirez. So 5-1 in the sixth. Red Sox lead the Rays tonight 5-1. That game's in the fifth inning. Eric Patterson, who got traded over from Oakland, he's got a pair of home runs for Boston tonight. High drive from Peralta. But in center field, there's Bourbon. That's out number 2. Later tonight, the Yankees will be at the A's. Alex Rodriguez returns to the mound that he crossed while Dallas Braden was still on it. And you hear the A's are selling T-shirts at that one that says,
"Are they?
Stay off my mound."
I think Dallas Braden's on the disabled list, isn't he? He won't be able to pitch in that series. That'd be an interesting matchup to watch.
Well, you can still pose with a T-shirt, I guess. Royals will be at the Mariners tonight with Felix Hernandez on the mound. One-day game today. The Tigers 12-9 winners over Baltimore. They got 5 in the first and 3 in the second, did the Tigers at home. End up winning 12-9. Ripped by Laporta. Hamilton back, he turns. Laporta hits it out. So the young guys for the Indians that we've been talking about, they're letting them play. Guys like Santana and Laporta, they both hit home runs this inning. And it's now 4-0. And the hit batsman that preceded the home run makes it a 2-run shot.
That's, again, we talk about this often, but in the course of 162 games, that's not a bad pitch. That's a hard pitch to hit for a home run. That ball's about 6 inches inside. In the course of 162 games, the worst teams get hot, and they can beat the best teams. You can't take any team for granted in any given series.
And again, the Indians came in here having won 6 out of 8. So you're right, Tom. I mean, just it's a big league team that eventually is going to find its way, even if it's only for a week or two. They are in that week or two right now. Dustin Nippert gets up in the Ranger bullpen. He followed Beltre in that game out in Anaheim. Beltre lasted 4 innings in that one. That's what we're talking about right there. Just powers that one by Crow. Two homers and a hit batsman in the inning. The Rangers still don't have a hit against Aaron Laffey. But we showed you that stat earlier. Laffey has just been creamed by the Rangers in the past. Batting average in the 430s. A lot of baseball to go tonight. Wave and a miss. So, Beltre and the Rangers are out of the inning, but the damage was done. 3 on the board. 4-0 our score. Angels and A's, you save a lot of money. You got the option to purchase your same great seats for postseason activity. 972 Rangers for more info, or go to TexasRangers.com. The bottom of the third underway. Justin Smoke takes the strike. And the Rangers still looking for their first hit tonight off of Aaron Laffey, who had a good outing last time out against Toronto. Diane Viciedo has just hit a home run. The White Sox now up 6-1 on the Angels. The two top teams in the AL West both losing by a little. Rangers have a lot more time to come back tonight.
Laffey's not that easy a guy to hit tonight. He's not throwing many strikes. He's certainly not throwing any good pitches to hit. And that's about all the Rangers are doing. They haven't hit a ball hard yet. Michael hit a ball pretty hard, line drive to second. Other than that, tough going so far.
Julio Bourbon will have an opportunity to be the first to get a hit against him. And maybe the second time around, the Rangers will adjust and adapt a little bit. A 3.5 game lead for the Rangers. It's tied for the biggest division lead in baseball. The Padres, the surprise of the National League, up 3.5 on the Dodgers. Before you look at the Easts and the Centrals, and there are some dogfights going on. At AL Central, in which the Indians play, you got the Tigers with 37 losses, the Twins with 38, the White Sox with 38. In the East, the Yankees, Boston, and Tampa Bay all within 2 of each other in the loss column. And boy, that NL Central's not getting any separation between Cincinnati and St. Louis. They've been neck and neck for about 2 months. Bourbone's going to take a walk.
One time through the lineup, the Rangers have had 2 base runners, and Laffey's thrown 53 pitches.
13 of those were to Kinsler, or to Hamilton, remember, and that at bat that started the second. The other walk was to Kinsler.
All right, second time through the lineup. Now we need some line drives. Something like a 4-run inning. Even things off and start over again.
I got some all-stars coming up here. Elvis Andrus, who's hit safely in 10 out of 12. Time for Elvis to drive one somewhere. It's been the 23 games tag since his last extra base hit. Plenty of singles. I mean, he's still hitting around 290, but double or a triple mixed in would be something that Elvis would like very much. Still looking for his first home run all year. Darts that one in. Rangers have played well against the Indians last couple of years. 10-2 against them. Real close to being 11-1. Shin-Soo Choo had that game-changing home run in that Matt Harrison game earlier this year that you spoke of.
And that was a tough game to lose. That was a game the Rangers, it looked like they had that game in hand. Matt couldn't pitch a whole lot better than he was pitching. Rangers didn't have a lot of runs, but they had a 2-0 lead.
And then it was back-to-back errors to open the inning, and then a 3-run homer by Choo.
Yeah, just a shocking loss the way the game had gone up to that point. I want to thank our friends Melanie and Russ Nickel from MR Pigs Restaurant in Idabel, Oklahoma, for the barbecue feast we're going to have tomorrow.
That was a good plan by you, by the way, to save that till tomorrow.
I got here late. We'd all eaten, so it's in the refrigerator. We're ready for the feast tomorrow, right around 5 o'clock. All the camera guys are invited. If you get here late, that's your fault, because there probably won't be any left.
That's right. You snooze, you lose. Are producers invited too?
They never come. We invite them. They never come. Although I bet you Barron will be here tomorrow for the dessert.
Why,
I'm not going to tell him what it is.
Does it have mayonnaise in it?
No.
But you're confident he'll be here anyway?
I'm confident he'll be here.
All right.
Be disappointed if he doesn't.
Elvis taking. It's 3-2. Michael Young on deck.
There are a lot of pitches being thrown in this game.
You notice that?
That's 60 for Laffey already. He's got one out here in the 3rd inning.
72 thrown by Beltre. Bourbon goes, and Elvis hits it to the vacated spot. It's smothered anyway, and it gets away from Laporta. It hit him, and he's down. And because he's down, everybody's running around. Here comes Bourbon. What a break for the Rangers. Sorry, Matt Laporta. That's an awful thing that just happened to him. He got it right in the face. It knocked him silly. He didn't even know what happened.
Wow. Well, it's a hit-and-run play. The shortstop's covering second. He made a nice reaction to reach back and catch the ball. Actually had time, although he didn't have a great balance to throw to first. The ball bounced, and unfortunately, it hits Matt Laporta. Nice pickup here by Donald. Tries to throw on one knee off balance. The ball bounces, comes up, skips off his glove, and right in the face.
Was it the ball or Elvis's arm, the elbow that came down? I'm not even sure.
Let's take a look. Yeah, no, it's Elvis's body hit him in the back of the head. It wasn't the ball at all.
Boy, he looks like he's out cold right there.
He might have been. Wow.
And you're right. It was Elvis running by completely inadvertently. Just clocks him here. Watch this.
Yeah, from the first angle, it looked like it was the ball, and then it's Elvis's body right in the back of the head. Oh, boy. Ball might have hit him, too.
Umpire ducks. Ball comes up right there, right in the side of the head.
Poor Matt didn't know what hit him. Wonder he couldn't get up.
Wow, the eyes open right there. What an eventful inning for him. He had the homer in the top of the inning. Boy, if he stays in the game, that's really something, considering how that looked. It'll go as a single and an E6. And Bourbon, who was running on the pitch, raced all the way around. That was the first Ranger hit of the game, and what a strange one it was.
I think I like Ron Washington putting the hit and run on.
Absolutely.
You know, try to make something happen. You're down by 4 runs. Having trouble getting something going. Start the runners, move the infielders, and the Rangers might have a little something going right here. I hope that Matt Laporte is okay, too, number 1.
But a great point by Utag. I mean, if that's not a hit and run, that's double play right there.
Yeah. And now you got a man in scoring position. You got good guys coming up. You get a run right here. You cut that deficit in half. Who knows? Maybe someone hits one out. And we do have that 4-run inning.
Michael Young has played in every game for the Rangers. There's only actually 2 other players in baseball right now that have done what Michael has done. Play in every game and only DH once. Robinson Cano has done that, and he leads the league in hits. Prince Fielder is the other. Young slams it into the crowd. And Michael's due. For him, 0 for 9 is a slump, and that's what he's got right now, an 0 for 9, though he lined out in his first at-bat tonight. Towards first. And Laporte apparently is okay. Don't know how many baseballs he saw coming at him right there, but he fielded the correct one. Runner moves to third and gives Kinsler an opportunity here. Now Kinsler, 4 for 6 with a couple doubles lifetime against Laffey. A .370 batting average the last 3 weeks or so for Ian. And for the year now up to .299. I'll put in the call here for Kins.
Sounds good.
Got 2 homers in his last 8 games after 1 in his previous 58. And this is a guy who's hit well before.
He must have said it too loud. I think Laffey knows what's up right now.
That's fine.
He's not going to let it happen.
He can pitch to Guerrero then with 2 on. That's fine.
That could be a new rule in our game. If the guy you make the call for walks, it carries over to the next hitter.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling it for Vladdy. I'm feeling it for Kinsler. It's kind of.
Well, wait till see if Ian walks, and as Vlad's walking to the plate, you might.
I might. Okay.
You might.
So if that vibe carries over, you can kind of.
Yeah, you can let it carry over.
All right. But honesty is always the best policy. I mean, either you feel it or you don't feel it.
Yeah, but you're going to have a hard time saying you're not feeling it for
With
Vladdy.
Vladdy, I know. All right. I'll carry it over. That's fine.
We got the right formation for a tie game. Right
well,
here.
You wanted your 4-run inning, and I want to win the call game one time.
I want you to get the call.
I think we're both rooting for 4-4 also. So
Laffy's got a chance to throw more pitches than Beltre's thrown in 3 innings.
Tim Belcher heads out there to talk to Aaron Laffy, remind him who's up there. Belcher talks out there. We go out to Jim Knox, talk to him.
All right, Josh, we have them lined up here voting for Michael Young. Let's get Michael Young to the All-Star game right here at the Home Plate Concourse. You can vote as many times as you want, as well as at home on your computer. Log on to TexasRangers.com and vote Michael Young into this year's All-Star game. Don't forget, deadline Thursday at 3 p.m. Michael Young.
They like Mike. And again, you've got until Thursday to help vote him in. Vlad Guerrero to the plate, and he's already going for the 9th time. He will be an All-Star. Chance to tie this game here in the 3rd inning. Outfield a step or 2 back for Big Bad Vlad. Boy, you gotta like this. 2-0, Hamilton on deck. Trying to come back for Mr. Omar Beltre, as the Rangers did in Anaheim. Remember, they fell behind in that one and rallied for their only win out there. It was a 3-0 deficit that they overcame. Well, they do have 1 run back this inning. Vladdy looking to supply 3 more right here. A 3-1 count.
And now Laffy has thrown more pitches than Beltre. Beltre's thrown 72 pitches. Laffy's thrown 73. This will be his 74th pitch.
We will see some bullpen action tonight. Vladdy swings and fouls it back. Kinsler will be going with the next one. It'll be 3-2 with 2 out.
Boy, there's been times this year where he wouldn't miss that pitch right down the middle of the plate. Laffy got away with one. If he threw that pitch last week, it'd be 3 runs. Hitters go through little spells where your timing's off a tick, you're right on everything.
A drive to center field. It goes to the track and dives. That close to the hoped for 4-4. Instead, it's 4-1. Call to the bullpen is Dustin Nippert, who will take over. Aaron Laffey has averaged even more than that, Tom, 25 pitches per inning, but his team is leading 4-1. And for Beltre tonight, 4 hits, 3 walks. He struck out 3, allows the 4 runs. And his first 2 efforts in the big leagues are short stints, 4 innings and 3 innings. But with a lot of promise.
Laffey's real lucky that the score is still 4-1. The 3-1 pitch to Vlad was right down the middle. He fouled it off, and then he hit a ball that most nights in the summertime is a home run, but that ball just didn't go anywhere tonight. Died at the track. There are plenty of nights you see it hit the grass out there in center field, but not tonight. A lot of pitches for Laffey, but he's still ahead 4-1 right now.
Hard hit. Elvis Andrus can't get it. And Jason Donald is now 2 for 2. You know, one thing we've seen, though, from Nippert that I think has to be considered a plus the last couple times out there, Tom, seems like he's attacking a little bit more.
Well, he had 3 innings pitched in Anaheim, didn't walk a batter, gave up only 1 run, threw the ball well that day. And really, there's nothing ever wrong with Dustin's stuff. There's times where he throws a few too many pitches. He's had too many walks this year. But if he can command the strike zone, and then everything's going to work out fine for him, and it did in Anaheim. Threw the ball real well. Got a win that day backing up Beltre.
Top of the order, Michael Brantley. He drew a walk in the second. Was robbed of a hit by Michael Young in the first. A 6'8" Dustin Nippert delivers outside to Brantley. Of course, we've seen Dustin in the starting spot every so often the last couple of years. So last year more than this year, I think, just would kind of show up on no notice and give the team 5, 6, even 7 innings. This year, when he's been asked to do that, it's been more like 3 or 4. Ranger bullpen has been real good of late. Last 2 weeks, the ERA of 1.44. With the bullpen being put to use like this tonight, you start to look ahead to what's coming up. You want guys out there who will give you some innings. That'll help right there. The ground ball, Elvis charging to second, fires, double play.
Have to see Elvis be aggressive on that play, take it himself. Nice play.
And again, with the need going forward to make sure that the bullpen is in correct order. You don't want to burn through your whole bullpen tonight, so now quick innings from Dustin Nippert would really be a plus. And a long effort tonight, or excuse me, tomorrow night from C.J. Wilson. I'm pretty much banking on that one all year. Same for Colby Lewis on Wednesday. CJ will be up against Justin Masterson tomorrow. Like Dustin Nippert, a real big guy. Wednesday, it's Colby Lewis against the surprising Mitch Talbot. And of all the guys we just mentioned, the guy with the most wins is Mitch Talbot. He's got 8. A drive from Jason Nix. The native Texan is going to hit one out. And he's not known for that. We've seen his brother do that a few times in this park. But now Jason gets one out. And it's 5-1.
Well, it's a perfect example. You get behind in the count 2-0, you groove a fastball, and you turn any big league hitter into a much better hitter. It's 2-0. Pitch on the inside half of the plate. Up. And he hit it out of the ballpark. That's why you hear so many times how important it is to throw strike one, get ahead in the count. Hitters don't have the same swings when they're behind in the count as they do when they're ahead in the count.
We saw Nix earlier this year with the White Sox. I didn't see him put a swing on a pitch quite like that. Here's Santana, who hit one to the upper deck last inning. Boy, 3 of the last 9 Indians have hit home runs now. Now Santana, who came over from the Dodgers in the Casey Blake trade. The Indians have been so high on him ever since they've gotten him. They kept him in Double-A all last year. He's a young guy. Didn't see any need to rush him. That one bent in there for a strike. Fastball count, but it wasn't a fastball. The 2-out walk is going to bring Travis Hafner to the plate and Mike Maddox to the mound. You knew the Rangers weren't going to keep up that pace that they had established in June, playing 800 ball. But obviously the hope was, as you rolled in July, that at the very least they'd still be playing some winning baseball. Right now they're just in a bit of a lull, but the good news is it's a very short sample. Losing 2 out of 3 in Anaheim, 2 out of 3 here to Chicago.
You also have to remember they're playing two pretty good teams with really good pitching staffs, and you go into Anaheim and had a chance to win that last game. It was a close game, and you've got 3 excellent starters going against you in Anaheim. Then you face the White Sox, same thing, excellent starting pitching and a really good bullpen, one of the best bullpens in the American League. So you come to a stretch where you lose 4 out of 6 to those 2 teams, and it's really not the end of the world because those 2 teams are hot. Anaheim was hot. White Sox were even hotter than the Rangers were.
Hafner has struck out a couple times. Probably not real unhappy to see Omar Beltre out of the game. And unfortunately right here, right after the double play, you're thinking, okay, nice quick inning. There was 6 pitches to get 2 outs, but John Nippert has had to struggle to get that 3rd out. Trying for the outside corner and didn't quite get it there. Nippert now also, just like Beltre, more balls and strikes. Hafner was one of those guys that we used to always see the shift on against. That exaggerated overshift. Remember the Rangers put that on for Vlad Guerrero last year, and it's unusual to see that for a right-handed swinger, but the Rangers would do that with Vlad. Haven't seen a lot of the overshifts for or against here in 2010. Another full count. Another high pitch total in an inning for a Ranger pitcher.
It's the 4th straight inning with at least 20 pitches.
Which is good for concessions sales, but not necessarily for your pitching staff. All right, go get him, Dustin. 3-2. Runner goes. Instead, Hafner goes and gets Nippert. And taking the turn, going to third is Santana, catcher who moves pretty well. Runners at the corners now for Austin Kearns. When the Rangers having a tough time lately, Tom, with that shutdown inning. When the Rangers score, the inability to make sure the other team does not respond.
Pretty nice hitting by Hafner right there. That's a good pitch. Down and away, lower part of the strike zone, outside corner. And big, strong guy, Hafner just strokes it into left field. That's a good pitch by Dustin, but pretty good hitting by Hafner right there.
Rangers have the 4th best ERA in the American League right now. They haven't finished something like 4th in a really long time. You look at the last decade, their average finish was 12th. Ripping a foul by Kearns. As it stands, the Rangers have at home anyway this year an ERA of about 3.5, and that's the lowest at home since 1983. Obviously back at the old ballpark. Mike Maddox, Nolan Ryan, everybody involved has created a culture where you're not scared to pitch here anymore. The low home ERA and the fact that the Rangers are averaging 6 runs per game here at home, that conspires for that very winning home record. 29-14. Punch foul by Kearns. Does the ballpark get in people's heads as much as it used to, do you figure, Tag, or are we kind of past all that?
I don't know. You know, I think the ballpark is in the heads of the media and fans more than it is the players. The players understand that it could be a good park to hit in, but I think they also understand that you have a job to do. You go out and you battle the other team, you battle the other pitcher.
Hit him again. Austin Kearns has been hit 2 straight innings by 2 different pitchers. And the bases are loaded now for Johnny Peralta.
There's been a lot of games this year. I think more games than not where the ball really hasn't carried exceptionally well. Today's one of them. That ball that Vladimir hit. He hit that ball. It looked like as hard as he hit the one to center field in Anaheim that went out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
It didn't go out tonight. There's been some games where the ball shoots out of here. But I think there's been more games where it doesn't than there have been games where it has.
Last 3 years, this has been only the 3rd best park in the American League for home runs. Baltimore and Chicago have been better. What this has been is a very good triples park of late.
Well, you would expect that because it's got deep angles in right center field, left center field, down the lines. You would expect a lot of triples in this ballpark.
And when you think about it, guys like Marlon Byrd last year, Borbone last year and this year, Josh Hamilton, I mean, guys that can cut it real quick around the bases and tend to hit them in the alley. You got some triples hitters here.
Yeah. You look at a lot of guys that can hit a triple here. Ian, Elvis. Guys that drive the ball in the gap. Michael drives the ball to right center field a lot.
Wave and a miss, 1-1. I'm surprised kind of by that logic that a Ranger hasn't hit an inside the park home run here in more than 10 years.
Who had the last one?
Luis Alicea.
Huh.
June of the year 2000. Been a couple hit on the road by the Rangers between now and then, but down and outside, and looks like Andy Marte has come out on deck. That's for Matt Laporta, who again got knocked silly at first base in that collision with Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, it looked like he was out cold there for a while, and I was a little surprised he stayed in the game.
Me too. Boy, outside and no place to put him.
And this all started basically with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Donald singled. Brantley hit into a double play. And what looked like a quick inning is going to be at least 30 pitches.
No action in the Ranger bullpen. There's already been a visit from Mike Maddox. There's the ground ball to the left side. And Nippert is out of the inning. The Indians leave him loaded, but they score again. Another home run, this time from Jason Nix, and it's 5-1. More than 100 runs batted in before the All-Star break. Josh Hamilton will not quite get there this year, but he is leading things off for the Rangers in the bottom of the 4th, and the Rangers need to kickstart this thing. Showed some signs last inning. Vlad Guerrero had a chance to tie it, actually. There's a base hit for Josh Hamilton and a right. A hit in 27 of his last 28 now. And in his last 25 in a row in this ballpark, an all-time record. On to the All-Star game, and there's Andy Marte in the game at first. We mentioned he was going to be on deck for Matt Laporta. Now Nelson Cruz, who struck out looking in the second. We're just talking about Josh Hamilton heading to the All-Star game, and here's our Geico quote of the day. He's made Ranger fans feel pretty special. This is true. Those who were here to watch that 490-foot home run will attest to that. Hard hit. Spinning around Peralta. They get the out at second. Yes, they do. Held on to it long enough, says Tim Cheetah. A few more inches wide of Peralta. You're looking at 2 on, nobody out.
That Peralta spun all the way around and kind of threw this ball blindly, but he knew where second base was. Got it there accurately enough, and Nix held on to it long enough. Hard hit ball, too, by Nelly. Almost into left field for a couple on and nobody out.
Benji Molina brought in from the Giants just a few days ago. Chris Ray dealt the other way, and Benji's going to pop one up. Over near the dugout. Marte is right there on the railing to make the catch right in front of Kinsler. A couple of fly ball outs from Benji Molina. We'll see if Justin Smoke can get going now. Smokey is, well, 0 for his last 24. And try not to think about the 0 for part of that. Just trying to zero in on the fact that there's been some good contact. Slumps are going to happen. Although Ron Washington has said lately, you know, at some point it's more than just hitting and tough luck. You got to make some adjustments and make something happen. Rookie years can be tough, up and down. We've seen the up from Justin. He had that great series in Houston. He's hit some long home runs this year. But he's just a couple of years out of college. And we all do keep that in mind when he suffers through something like an 0 for 24. Big swing, but a foul. Well, give Laffey some credit. Again, this is a guy that's just gotten his lunch handed to him by the Rangers every time he's faced him before. He's kept him off balance twice through the order so far.
Well, second straight day facing a finesse left-hander.
Yep, the finesse lefty did his job yesterday. Mark Burley with the win in front of the big crowd. Mercedes-Benz will show you the Aaron Laffey pitching line. 1 unearned run so far. Rangers are making him throw a lot of pitches. He's in the mid-80s. As is the temperature right now. Fairly comfortable evening. Same two teams tomorrow at 7:05. Up and outside with Bourbon on deck. White Sox just got another run tag, another Carlos Quentin homer, his second of the game.
Well, it looked like Quentin was getting hot against the Rangers, too.
Well, the struggle's continuing for Smoke. He strikes out to end the inning. 5-1 Cleveland tonight at the end of 4.
Barbecue sauce.
You might remember one of them was Wando in 1998. Hank Greenberg, pretty incredible 103 in 1935. Right now it is Vlad Guerrero with 70 to lead the major league. Steve Busby joins us this inning. We're going to the top of the 5th. Here is your garden variety Steve Busby right here.
That's right.
Well, we got to talk some pitching off the top. I know you're sighing, but you're the pitching expert, so we go to you. As Andy Marte will pop one towards center. Bourbon will make the catch. That's something we haven't seen tonight. One pitch and one out. And with Tommy Hunter a couple nights ago, we had an inning where we saw 3 pitches to get 3 outs. First time a Ranger's done that in at least 10 years. That was fun, but we're not seeing anything close to that tonight.
Josh, and you guys have seen it up here as we all have tonight. It's just a matter of throwing strikes early in the count. It just didn't happen with Beltre, and then Nippert got into a pattern of doing that too. Maybe the mound's messed up. I don't know.
Well, two pitchers combined, more balls than strikes right now. It's a tough way to win a ball game.
Yeah, and this is a very young Cleveland ball club. They're not a very disciplined ball club as far as laying off close pitches if you establish a strike. And neither pitcher's been able to do that very effectively.
Well, even though the Rangers have only scored 1 run, Glaffey hasn't exactly run up the strike zone either.
No, you're right, Tom. It's
maybe it is the mound.
It could be. It could. I think it is. Laffey, you can look at him and say, well, he's effectively wild.
That's what it looks like. I agree with you. I agree with you there.
The Rangers have drawn 3 walks, but only one of them has scored. There's one on the corner from Nippert. And Tom and I have talked about Nippert. I'm sure you share some of this. I mean, with the stuff that he's got, you'd love to see him just go after guys.
Yeah, Josh, I've always felt it's very difficult for a big, tall, long-armed, long-legged guy to keep his mechanics together over any length of time, unless you're in a set role. I think as a starter, you have a much better chance throwing every 5th day than Dustin Nippert does when he's in long relief, a spot start here and there, sometimes middle relief, where he doesn't have the ability to work on his mechanics and keep them in a pretty good groove on a consistent basis.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think we've seen that with Brandon McCarthy, too, at times when he's been here. One of those long and lean guys where he'd be sailing along for 3 or 4 innings, and things would just kind of unravel, and it would take a while to click it back to where it was.
Yep.
There's a strike to Jason Donald.
You remember a guy like Randy Johnson, until he found a way to change his approach mentally, but found a way to keep himself under control physically. He was, all over the place. And then once he found it, hitters regretted the idea that Nolan had a talk with him.
Yeah, people forget sometimes. Randy Johnson walked 90, 100 batters for a while, especially in the minor leagues. Does a pitcher feel, not that you were ever mechanically that out of whack, but if something did slip out of whack, could you feel something's not quite right? I don't know what it is, or what would that feel like?
Yeah, you can feel it, and if you don't know what it is, if you don't know what kind of an adjustment to make, that's where a pitching coach, to me, is invaluable. A guy that can sit there and watch you and has a pretty good idea of what you're supposed to look like, and he can give you feedback. Here's what I see. Now, can you equate that with how you're feeling? And if you can, okay, here's the adjustment you need to make to get that feeling back. But like hitting, and Tom, I think you would probably say the same thing is true. It's so much a feel. Mechanics is so much a feel. You feel it when it's right, you feel it when it's wrong, and until you get that good feeling back, it's hard to deal with.
Runner goes. That ball pounded into left. Boy, what a night for Jason Donald. He's 3 for 3. Hamilton's up with it. And Steve Smith, the former Ranger third base coach, will hold the runner coming past third. It's a double to make it second and third with 1 out.
I think one thing, Buzz, that's helped pitching coaches and hitting coaches over the last number of years is the use of video. I can remember back when we played, I think Charlie Lau was the first one that came out with video for hitters, and I don't know if he used it for pitchers too, but I don't know that I had a year in the big leagues where we really had a hitting coach. And they certainly didn't study your swing or your mechanics with video. So I think a lot of times we just went out and took extra batting practice, and we used to say, I'm going to keep swinging until all the bad swings are gone and I start feeling good again. But it was almost hit and miss, guessing whether your mechanics were good. I think the hitters and pitchers have an advantage now with video.
Infield in with Brantley at the plate. Rangers trying to keep this thing at 5-1 here in the 5th inning. Do you get the sense, Buzz, that the video is used? I mean, is it not enough, too much, or the right amount?
Well, Josh, I think you can fall in love with that stuff and analyze yourself to death. The paralysis by analysis type thing. Some guys are more prone to that than others, I think. But if you're just looking for, the example you gave me of not really knowing exactly what was wrong, just feeling something was wrong.
Yeah.
If you can identify it, and then that kind of clicks with you. Oh, okay, I see that. Go back a month or two, or whenever it felt better, and notice what usually a difference is pretty glaring. And if you fix it that way, that's great.
You saw a Strope in the bullpen. There's a strike from Nippert.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest advantages for video. You keep video of your swings and your games as a pitcher when everything's going well, and now you've got a reference point. When it goes back, you go back and make the comparison, and something should show up, I guess.
Yeah.
Again with the infield in. Nippert draws even 2-2. And Tag, I'll ask you, and Buzz, I'm sure, I mean, you golf as well, but I mean, you golfing guys, is it same with video on that, Tag? I mean, do you want to look at, a detailed breakdown of all that? Or?
Yeah, I haven't taken advantage of that very often, and sometimes it can be pretty demoralizing. You think you're looking pretty good, do you go, that's my swing?
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
I got too much work to do to worry about the video.
Oh, Lord, now I'm really embarrassed for having
pretty good swing until I watch that.
That swing sends Bourbon on the run. He will make a sliding catch. Tagging from third is Trevor Crow. Donald had to hold at second base. A sac fly to make it 6-1. All right, so I've had some questions for Steve Busby. I'm sure you guys might have questions for Steve Busby. Text your questions to 57538. Keyword Buzz. Standard text rates do apply. Text stop to quit, but do not text quit to stop.
Well, the bad news now is the Rangers are behind 6-1. The good news is the White Sox are beating the Angels 9-2. So the Angels aren't feeling too well tonight either.
We all say we're not scoreboard watching, but we are.
I don't say it. I watch it every night.
Runner going second to third. And a great jump on a big pitcher with a big kick.
I think the players say they don't scoreboard watch.
Fans and announcers can, though, right?
I don't know why you would say that. When the scoreboard's right in your eyes right there, you have to be able to see it.
Unless you're a blind man or illiterate, you got to be able to know what's going on, right?
And the other thing is, what's wrong with scoreboard watching? Why wouldn't you want to know what your opponents are doing? Baseball, built around stats.
To right field off the bat of Jason Nix. It goes right to Nelly Cruz. Thank you, Mr. Busby.
You're welcome, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you on Rangers Live after the ball game tonight.
Sounds good.
All right. 6-1 Cleveland halfway through.
Cast members from Dreamgirls, the summer musical going on at Music Hall. This is Adrian and also Seisha. Seisha, by the way, is second runner-up in the American Idol a couple of years ago. Dreamgirls, you guys put on a heck of a performance in the national anthem. Dreamgirls goes on through when?
Through the 18th here. Yeah, 2 more weeks. So you have 2 more weeks to catch us.
And Seisha, what do you enjoy best about doing the show?
The music and the messages really transcend their time. So just being on stage is such an opportunity to just bless people out there in the audience and just be moved when they leave.
These girls love baseball and they love to sing. Check out the voice. Give us the signature Dreamgirls song. Here we go.
We're your dream girls, boys. We'll make you happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're your dream girls, boys. We'll always care.
Very nice. July 18th at the Music Hall. Check him out. Good on a great performance. Thanks, girls. Nice job, Josh.
Love that about 1,000,000%. Thank you very much, Jim. Borbone pops out. You had to have seen that when it was in the theaters, right?
Yeah, I did. I loved it.
With Beyonce and, well, not you and Beyonce together, but Beyonce was in the picture. Yeah,
it was terrific.
Borbone having popped out, and Elvis Andrews now his third time to have a shot at Aaron Laffey. He's 1 out of 2. Had the first Ranger hit. You hope that at some point the Rangers will remember that they have owned this guy in the past. Last time they got 12 hits against him. Tonight they have 2. Elvis reaching and also colliding at first base in the 3rd inning with Matt Laporta, who has since had to be removed from the game. This was a scary moment. Watch him go down when Elvis makes contact. Back live, Elvis takes up an outside. No update on Laporta. We just know that he's no longer on the field.
Yeah, I think he's right where he should be. Resting and being observed by a doctor. You get knocked out in the course of a game like that. I give him credit for trying to stay in the game, but I think he's where he needs to be right now.
Andy Marte has come on and played first base instead. The Angels have lost 9-2. So Chicago stays hot. And it's only fair. If they do all that to the Rangers, they got to do that to the Angels now. Trying to slip it to that outside corner. Didn't quite get it there. This crowd are waiting for something to shout about. It's been a little while.
The Rangers just can't catch the pitches from Laffey on the good part of the bat. The one that did was Vlad's, and it didn't go out of the ballpark. A ball that I think he hit well enough to get out of the ballpark. It just looked like it died at the track. It was very high, and I think the jet stream worked in reverse on the ball that Vlad hit.
Elvis jacks one into left center field, and that'll be his first extra base hit in 4 weeks. And the Rangers needed a bit of a jolt. Maybe that's it. Elvis Andrews pounds a double.
Rangers waiting to string something together to get back in this game. Get a little rally going. They've got some good guys coming up right here. Good guys throughout the lineup for that matter. Right down the middle of the plate. That little cutter was a good pitch to hit. And Elvis got out in front of it and drilled it over Trevor Crow's head in left field. Plenty of time left in the game. 5 more innings, but you have to at least start to peck away here. Laffey now is at 97 pitches. He's in danger of not being able to go 5 innings and qualify for the win.
See if Michael Young can keep him on the ropes. Grounded towards short. Young busting it down the line, and he's safe.
Well, Donald made that play like I was running. He looked like he made the play like he had plenty of time, and Michael just beat out a ground ball to shortstop right there. No, not a simple ground ball to shortstop. Busting it down to first base. Donald couldn't get him.
Just enough of a delay. And Michael Young gets his first hit in his last 10 at bats, brings Kinsler to the plate. Kinsler has walked a couple of times. We mentioned earlier 4 out of 6 lifetime against Laffey when he actually puts the ball in play, including a couple of doubles. The Rangers had to rally last time Beltre started and got it done. Michael Young had a hand in that. Again, you can vote Michael into the All-Star game if you go to TexasRangers.com. Or try to, at least.
Laffey in his 2 starts has gone 86 pitches and 97 pitches.
Kinsler belts it in the left. He's at 100 pitches now, and the Rangers are starting to get him. Andrus, Young, and Kinsler all come through, and up comes Vlad Guerrero. But there will be a new pitcher facing him.
Well, the Indians know that Vlad almost went deep his last time up. Very close. And not going to take a chance on it happening again. So disappointing start for Laffey. A 6-1 lead going into the 5th inning. He's going to have 101 pitches and have to turn it over to the bullpen.
We'll tell you about the new pitcher in just a moment. 6-2 Cleveland for now. Also a Dreyer's Ice Cream Sundae. Kids 13 and under get ice cream for just $1. There's the Vlad Guerrero t-shirt, folks. Look at that. Fritz Dykert holds it up, shows it to you. 972 Rangers to get your tickets, or you can go to TexasRangers.com. That is the Sunday giveaway for the Rangers against the Orioles. Big bad Vlad against Frank Herman, who we have not seen before. Tom, guy with a good fastball. The Harvard-educated Frank Herman. Hoping to, well, maybe the Rangers will give him a bit of a different education here with Guerrero and Hamilton and Cruz about to face him. 2 on and just 1 out. And a run already in. There's that fastball, strike 1. Herman, a New Jersey native, has his economics degree from Harvard. Inside to Vlad. A deep fly ball with 2 men on last time. Just did not get out. Here is take 2. And punches it foul. Aaron Laffey lasts just 4 1/3. He allows 5 hits, 3 all in a row here in this inning. A swing, it's into right field and sinking down for a base hit. Up with the ball is Kearns, he'll get it in. Josh Hamilton will bat as the tying man now in the bottom of the 5th.
Kearns has a good arm in right field, and when you're down by 4 runs, you just can't take a chance right there.
4 straight Ranger hits.
Especially with Josh coming up. High fastball. Actually a strike. Ladd gets on top of it, lines it to right field. Kearns comes in, fields it aggressively. Playing pretty deep out there, but he charges the ball. And you get a great look at Dave Anderson holding the runner and Kearns' strong throw coming home.
Herman to Hamilton, ball 1. Josh with 20 homers, that's second most in baseball. Big swing, it's 1-1.
Location with that pitch. Overhead view shows you right on the outside corner with that fastball.
Home plate umpire Bob Davidson flinched but didn't call it. It's 2-1. Michael Young at third. Kinsler at second. Guerrero at first. Away. A lot of heat here from Herman. He's pretty specific about where he's pitching Josh.
Oh, we've seen Josh many times this year take that same pitch and drive it into left field. And you can't blame Herman for throwing him that way. That's the smart way to throw him when the tying run at the plate. As hot as Josh has been, throw it in. Then you risk Josh being able to pull it out of the ballpark.
The 2-2. Taken for a called third strike. Hamilton hand on a hip to discuss with Bob Davidson. Let's see.
I don't know how you call that pitch a strike. I know how you can. It's close. Not like it's 8 feet out of the strike zone, but talk about a perfect pitcher's pitch right there.
Santana kind of scoops it up and towards that strike zone, too.
If I was announcing for Cleveland, I would have said, I don't know how you could call that pitch a ball. That's a strike all the way.
Right on the borderline. Tough one going against the Rangers. And now it's left to Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, in spite of what the tracker shows, that's a pitch that frequently is called a ball. Very, very difficult pitch for a hitter to hit right there.
Nelly Cruz is due. Got the bases loaded here, and he will take a strike. Remember, Nelson had that marauding start to the season where he had the 7 homers in his first 11 games. That 7th one was against these Indians. He hit it a long way out to left. Just doesn't seem to be in rhythm of late, though.
In the last few games, his timing has been off. You just got to keep battling through it. Eventually, you come out one day and you go, there we go, right where I want to be. But right now, it's a battle up there.
Got him. Strike 3 called. The Rangers leave him loaded. They had Hamilton and Cruz up there. They both took a called third strike. Ford is the best in Texas and by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Crowd was up and cheering, bases loaded, but Hamilton struck out. Same deal. Nelson Cruz up there, bases loaded. Look at this thing come back and catch that inside corner, barely.
Yeah, and I could see that one being called a strike, but the ball that Josh was called out on, 9 times out of 10 at least is called a ball, and I don't blame him for being upset with that. It's close to a strike on the tracker. You just never see that pitch called a strike.
Now the Rangers, having left a couple on back in the 3rd, and then the bases loaded in the 5th. They've had to deal tonight with some pitchers who have had a tough time throwing strikes. For the game, the 2 pitchers, Beltre and Nippert. Now officially it is more balls than strikes. You want that ratio to be at least 2-to-1 strikes to balls. Three, 4, 5 in the order for the Tribe here. Big rip from Santana. It was already homered to the upper deck tonight. Not to continue the Victor Martinez comparisons with Santana, but they even gave him Victor Martinez's old number. Switch hitting catcher with power. Martinez, of course, now with Boston Red Sox. As of right now, the Red Sox would be the wild card team in the AL. There's strike 2. We're going to see the Red Sox for 4 games right on the other side of that All-Star break at Fenway. A lot of base runners, a lot of men left on base. This thing is 6-2, but could easily be a lot higher scoring than that. We've seen 15 runners left on tonight through 5 innings.
50 pitches right now for Dustin. 25 strikes, 25 balls. Essentially to get through 2 innings. There's nobody out here in his 3rd inning.
Nipper keeps stepping off. Santana keeps stepping out. We're in no hurry. In on him, and he popped it up. That's a good pitch. Michael Young, no sweat. The Angels have lost 9-2. Carlos Quentin, the 2 homers. We'll give you some more scores in just a bit. Right now we go to Emily Jones.
Hey guys, be sure to head to foxsportssouthwest.com to click on the link where you can vote for Michael Young into the All-Star game. And from the difficult to understand but still very important department, Chuck Greenberg and Nolan Ryan have issued a statement regarding the proceedings that are supposed to take place regarding the sale of the Texas Rangers. Instead of trying to interpret it for you, we've posted it on our website. That way you can read and all the legal experts can interpret. Gentlemen.
My head hurts already. Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it. On the field tonight, a 6-2 lead for Cleveland. Omar Beltre started and lasted just 3 innings tonight because of a high pitch count. Beltre struck out a Hafner a couple times. I think the best off-speed stuff that Beltre showed us, Tom, was when Hafner was at the plate.
Yeah, the first time up, he threw him 3 straight changeups to strike him out. And I think you're right. I think he did throw him some good off-speed pitches. Beltre's big problem tonight was he just couldn't throw a sinker for a strike.
Well, again, the off-speed pitch.
And I guess the one that hurt as much as anything was Laporta's 2-out, 2-run homer in the 3rd.
Yeah.
On a pitch that was 6 inches inside. Laporta just did a beautiful job of getting the good part of the bat on the ball and keeping it way fair on a pitch that was pretty much 6 inches off the plate.
Boy, there's one where, you know, we mentioned earlier, used to be a lot of people would shift against Hafner. And strangely, that might have been a case where the one fielder that would have been between short and 3rd, the ball would have been right at him. But with a more conventional setup, that ball sneaks on into left. 9 hits for Cleveland now, and that's going to do it for Dustin Nippert. He's at 55 pitches in a 2 1/3 innings. So the Rangers will go to the bullpen now, trying to hold it at 6-2. The Indians on top of the Rangers. Will come back in just a moment. Because he's back with the Rangers for a 3rd time this year. Chris Ray got sent away in the Benji Molina trade. The Rangers needed to plug in the bullpen. They go down and get Strope. That guy's waiting for a foul ball.
He's got a major league glove there too, boy. Big glove.
Somebody hit that guy a foul ball, will you? Right now, the Rangers actually open for a double play. Austin Kearns, the batter. 1 on, 1 out. That is a rusty-looking swing right there from Austin Kearns.
That's one where you're guessing a fastball for a strike, first pitch hitting, and kind of get crossed up a little bit.
2 HBPs for Kearns after bouncing out in the second inning. The Rays over the Red Sox in the 8th, 6-5. And the Yankees and the A's are underway out there in Oakland. They're scoreless in the second. Great race in the AL East. The Yankees up by 1.5 games on Boston, 2 on Tampa Bay. Ground foul by Kearns. It stays 0-2. Royals and Mariners scoreless in the first. And earlier today, the Tigers over the O's 12-9. The Orioles come here next after Cleveland is done. National League real quick, the Phillies over the Braves 3-1. That was a Roy Halladay complete game. He's got 7 of those tagged. 7 complete games.
Well, if you told me someone in the big leagues had 7 complete games, he'd be my first choice for it. It's more than I would guess most of the teams have.
No doubt. Rangers had a couple years ago where they didn't have any. Halladay's got 7 all by himself. Did he? Apparently not. Meantime, I think Joey Votto is making his case since he got left off the All-Star team. 2 home runs for Cincinnati today. The Reds beat the Mets 8-6. That guy should definitely be in the All-Star game.
That's a blatant omission.
There's that wild wave and a miss. That's the one that opened that at bat. As we look at that NL Central with the Reds winning, your Jack-in-the-Box standings are 2 up on St. Louis now. Cardinals did not play today. The Brewers in 3rd place, but look at how many games are out. They lost 6-1 to San Francisco tonight. Another home run for Buster Posey, by the way, tagged for San Francisco. They've given him the starting job with Benji Molina here.
Yeah, he was playing first base until Benji was traded. Now he's back in his most comfortable position at catcher. Evidently, we haven't seen him. A little bit of work to do defensively, but he's major league ready with a bat.
Down too low to Peralta. Also, the Cubs beat the Diamondbacks 9-4. 12 strikeouts for the Chicago Cubs pitching staff. The Diamondbacks, well, they can strike out with the best of them. Got a lot
I think 12, 16, and 12 in the last 3 games.
Yeah. They got some free swingers on that team, no doubt.
They got a chance to set the major league record.
There's a swing and a miss, 1-2.
Pretty good stuff so far by Stroke.
Oh, this is
a sinker in the mid-90s.
That's what the Rangers are looking for. A couple innings of shutdown relief from somebody.
It may have been right down the middle, but its route to getting right down in the middle didn't make it an easy pitch to hit.
Runner going, and Stroke didn't even know there was a throw coming. He had to duck at the last minute as Molina whipped it to second, a delayed steal. And that is a bit of a surprise because of who's the guy running. That's Travis Hafner.
And that's the whole intent when you have a delayed steal like that. Catch people by surprise.
Well, all due respect to Travis Hafner, anytime he's running, that is a real stunner. That's his first stolen base in 3 years.
If you go back and watch that stolen base, you'll see pretty much the definition of a delayed steal and the jump that you try to get.
There's a foul from Peralta.
The runner at first takes a lead, and then he kind of takes 3 jumping steps towards second base, and then goes all the way. Watch. 1, 2, 3, and then he takes off. And the idea is to catch the other team by surprise so that no one's covering. And that accomplished that. He was able to get a stolen base.
Molina was busy trying to frame that pitch.
The reason you take those type of steps towards second is you can't just wait and go from a dead stop. You've got too far to go. Those little steps get you closer to second, get your momentum going towards second, so that even though you catch them by surprise, you're still far enough along to get there.
Three-two pitch. And we said it right from the beginning of this ball game. These Indians, even though their roster is turned over, it's been like this for years, where they're just the masters of that two-strike foul ball and being up there for a long time. Remember a couple of years ago, Tag, we had that 4-hour, 9-minute game against the Indians here. 9-inning game. Ripped into left center. Now it'll be 7-2. Peralta on his way to second base and makes it. It was a pretty quick, nice piece of pitching there with Kearns when Strop came in. Then he just couldn't finish off Peralta.
He threw him some good pitches, and it's a good at bat. And then he grooves a fastball, and Peralta does a nice job hanging in there. Fouled off the tough pitches, got a good one to hit, ripped it. Veteran hitter.
The Indians have scored in every inning except the first. Mike Maddox has been a frequent visitor tonight. And that closes the book on Nipper. 2 1/3 innings, 5 hits. And he's responsible for 3 runs tonight. Well, the Rangers have walked 5 tonight and hit 2. That doesn't help, considering the Indians also have 10 hits. A strike to Andy Marte. For years, people have said Marte is like a developing Miguel Cabrera. It just hasn't quite panned out that way yet. Been a top prospect for 3 different organizations.
Yeah, he better develop quickly if he wants to catch up with him.
Atlanta, Boston, and Cleveland have all sung his praises. Again, Cabrera and the Tigers a win today. That team's not going away. Brennan Bosch continues to just explode onto the scene this year. He made his debut right here in this ballpark and hasn't slowed down. That guy could be an all-star. Maybe should be an all-star. Hitting .340. 1-2 to Marte. Swept along towards deep short. Andrews loads up and fires to get the Rangers out of the inning. 1 run scores. It's 7-2. On appearance tonight. The Rangers being held to 2 runs on 6 hits. And the Indians just can't stop scoring. It is 7-2 Cleveland right now. Bottom of the 6th. And boy, Tom, when Tommy Hunter was pitching the other night, the game was over by now.
Well, you have all sorts of games throughout the course of the season. You love those quick games, but games average out to about 3 hours. So if you play one in 2.5, you've got a 3.5-hour game coming up sooner or later.
This is the one.
And, you know, there's games where pitchers are just mowing them down, throwing a lot of strikes. This has been a game where both starters struggled with their command.
Benji Molina trying to wake everybody up. Base hit left field.
You really have to give Herman credit for the way he came in after Guerrero's hit. The quality of the pitches that he made to Hamilton and Cruz, especially to Hamilton. I think he got a call that helped him out. But he did a great job of throwing the ball where he wanted to. Now, I'm not sure if he was trying to throw the breaking ball to Cruz on the inside corner like that, but it turned out to be a very successful pitch. He pitched out of a major jam there, bases loaded and 1 out.
Quietly tagged, the Cleveland bullpen has allowed 1 run in its last 21 innings. There's not a lot of household names in that bullpen, but boy, they've been getting it done. Tag, before I forget, a quick birthday shout out to a great Ranger fan from McKinney, Elna Vavrina. I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right, but turning 90 years old. Favorite player Ian Kinsler, we are told, and Ian representing tonight with 2 walks and an RBI single. Smoke, a rip and a miss. Aaron Laffey started. Frank Herman came on last inning. Gave up a single, but then struck out 2. There's Smoke. Needed that. He got it. Base hit. The way he'd been going, he wouldn't have been shocked if somehow Donald would have been able to make that dive and catch, but it didn't happen.
No, he almost did. Well, Herman's faced 5 hitters. He's given up 3 line drive hits and gotten 2 strikeouts with the bases loaded and 1 out. So he pitched out of the jam. Back in trouble with nobody out here in the 6th. Rangers trying to get that big inning. Looked like they might have one going in the 5th, but he came in and shut the door. See if he opens it back up right here.
And Bullpen, a guy with 3 homers, all of them in the last 15 games, including the one he hit last night. Bourbone's been making some contact of late, a lot of it. Does so here, chops it to first. Marte, the second for 1. Bourbon, a tough guy to double up. They can't get him.
Well, that's as quick as they could turn it, too. On a hard hit ball right at the first baseman. Bourbon, the last 3 or 4 steps he took, he just closed the gap and beat it out.
Keep that inning going. And now, with Elvis Andrus about to come up, looks like another pitching change might be coming. Bourbon barely saved. Well, Herman will be remembered in this game for getting the called 3rd strikes to the bases loaded of Hamilton and Cruz, who were up as the tying men at the time. Joe Smith was warming in the bullpen. He's coming on. 7-2 Cleveland at the ballpark. 10 MLB All-Star Game. Tuesday, July 13th, there will be at least 5 Rangers in it. Live from Anaheim at 7 Central on Fox. Michael Young could use your help to be the 6th Ranger headed there. Go to TexasRangers.com. Already an All-Star, it's Elvis Andrus, and he will face Joe Smith. Sidewinder missing inside.
Three home runs in 12 innings, 8 walks in 12 innings.
Smith acquired from the Mets in a 3-team, 12-player deal. And again, for the most part, the Indians' bullpen, especially of late, has been pretty good. But here it's 3-0 to Elvis. Michael Young on deck.
Well, knowing Elvis, he's going to have to throw 3 strikes right here because he'll be taking 2 of them.
Here's the first one.
And that really is Elvis's job right now, to get on base for the big guys in the middle of the lineup. Try to set the table.
Swinging, now it's 3-2.
He's still going to have to throw 3 straight strikes. That was a strike. So all he did was get loosened up for the next one in case it's a strike. Good pitch to hit right there. Hopefully he throws him the same one.
Look where that number 2 is. Remember where Josh Hamilton was called out on strikes with the bases loaded. That number 2 was called a ball.
Yeah, the one to Josh was not even anywhere near as close to a strike as that one.
Watch out. Picked him off. Balk though. No pickoff. It's a balk, says Bob Davidson. The run scores. Bourboin will get to go to second base.
He was running on the play. 3-2 pitch. I think Manny Actos saying, why don't you ask the third base umpire? But home plate umpire is Bob Davidson. And he said he saw it. Big break for the Rangers right there.
For years, Bob Davidson has been known for jumping on the opportunity to call the balk. That is his nickname is Balkin' Bob Davidson. And Joe Smith is fit to be tied. So is Manny Acta. That is escalating quickly. Seven to 3 now on a balk.
I think what he's going to say is you never step toward third base. You step toward home plate. That's pretty close. You have to step over that 45-degree line toward third base.
So Bourboin now at second, and the 3-2 is hit in the air to left center. Drifting back on the ball is Brantley. He's got it. Bourboin will tag and scoot towards third. Well, the Rangers, they've been handed a couple of breaks here. That play at first base where Laporta was all but concussed. The balk here on what we first thought was a pickoff. And now the Rangers really have to take full advantage. These random 1-run innings are not going to be enough. They need to get a real big hit with 2 out at some point. The teams have traded single runs in both the 5th and the 6th. Michael with an infield hit tonight, 1 out of 3. One of the hottest Ranger hitters of the last couple of weeks on deck. That's Kinsler, who has homered his only time he's ever faced Joe Smith. Michael Young trying to get it to him. Steady diet of off-speed stuff here. It's 1-2. Third pitcher used by the Indians tonight. The Rangers have used 3 as well. Short night for both starters. Got him. And the Rangers lead Bourbon at third. They do get a run on a balk. 7-3 at the end of 6. Nice Monday night crowd. We'll see if Pedro Strop can get that done. We saw Ogando warming up last inning, but he's not out there quite yet. Strop will face Trevor Crow, number 8 man in the lineup here for Cleveland. Strop, a converted infielder. Of course, Ogando warming behind him, a converted outfielder. Strop used to be a shortstop in the Rockies minor league system and ducks out of the way of that as it's lined to center. Bourbon's got it.
Nice play by Bourbon. Hard hit ball by Crow. Line shot just kept going. Looked like it was going to be a line drive to center for a hit, but he hit it so hard it kept on going.
It's not a usual happenstance to see a pitcher duck and then you write fly ball to the center fielder in your scorebook. Jason Donald has had quite a night. 3 for 3. A career high 3 hits for him. Strop, a guy with a really good slider. Got the call last August for the first time to come to the big leagues, replacing Jason Jennings in the bullpen. First batter he faced in the majors last year was Joe Mauer, and he struck him out swinging. That's a confidence boost. He actually ended up mowing down Mauer, Morneau, and Kubel in his first big league inning.
So this game's easy.
This is nothing. Well, the way the Indians are hitting tonight, nothing's easy. Omar Beltre found that out, so did Dustin Nippert. Well, the Rangers having already walked 5 and hit 2. Looking at a 3-2 count on Donald, former Arizona Wildcat. Well, the Rangers have left 8, and that's frustrating. But the Indians have left 9. Tough to complain.
A good night for Donald. Single and an RBI, single and a double.
Outside. Number 9 guy has been on 4 times tonight. Not all 162 games can be hung in a museum. They're not all going to be classics. And sometimes you still need to find a way to win those. Rangers will still have that shot. They've got 3 full at-bats left to them. Because you can't erase what's happened so far. It has not been a classically pitched ball game by the Rangers tonight. And the good news on that front, I guess, Tag, is this has been the exception and not the rule here in 2010. When you and I were first doing these games together 8-9 years ago, this was pretty much an every night deal you were looking at. But
well, you mentioned it earlier in the game. The Rangers were, was it 3rd or 4th in the league in ERA?
4th now. We're 3rd a day ago. And they're ahead of teams that are usually outstanding and paying their pitchers a lot of money, like the Yankees and the Red Sox, for example. Better ERAs than those 2 teams. But you're still going to have nights kind of like this one, where just right from word go, not a lot of strikes being thrown. Strop has thrown the most strikes, because remember, Beltre and Nippert both were running even Steven with the balls and strikes tonight. Boy, there's a guy who's been doing nothing but throwing strikes. He'll be next for the Rangers, Ogando. The Rangers will have all-stars coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Kinsler, Guerrero, and Hamilton. Just to put a 0 up on the board would be a mental lift. Last 5 innings for the Tribe, it's been 1-3, 1-1-1. Water torture. The cheery good news, though, is that the Angels got clobbered tonight, 9-2 in Chicago. The Rays still lead the Red Sox, by the way. That's 6-5. Bottom 9. Or heading, I'm sorry, top 9. The Yankees lead the A's 2-1 in the 3rd. Ripping a foul back by Brantley. Beltre for 3, Nippert for 2 and a 3rd. We'll see how long Strop can go. He's at 30 pitches right now. And again, the good news there, finally get that 2-to-1 ratio. 20 strikes, 10 balls. Inside. C.J. Wilson tomorrow. Colby Lewis on Wednesday. Then the Indians move on out of here, and we'll see Kevin Millwood and the Orioles come on back. The Michael Young tribute set for Saturday night, honoring Michael as the all-time franchise hit leader. Another balk? Come on, Bob Davidson, really? All right, well, fair is fair, I guess. Rangers just benefited from one. I didn't see it, to be honest with you. I just heard it. Heard Bob Davidson yelp out.
Generally, when you see a balk called at that point in time, it's because the pitcher started his stretch and stopped.
Well, there's no argument, and not even from Strop or from Benji Molina. But because, honestly, I didn't see it, I can't comment on it. I bet you're right, but I didn't see it. This game has become lousy with balks all of a sudden. And now a fly ball towards left. Hamilton is there. And he's got it for out number 2. I believe we can maybe see the balk here. We'll show it to you. Watch the head of Pedro Strop.
And once you, his head and his whole body move. Once you start to go into the stretch, you can't stop. You have to keep going until you step off. So that, unless you're watching the pitcher, you wouldn't see that. But Bob Davidson was watching the pitcher, and he didn't miss it.
That's it for Strop. Ogando will come on, trying to keep this slow mover 7-3 in the top of the 7th. We'll come back and tell you about the exciting Alexei Ogando. Some people still have energy at the ballpark right now. Hoping for a Ranger comeback, but first things first, got to hold down the Indians now at the top of the 7th. Got a runner at second, 2 out. Alexei Ogando has been amazing since he's come up. 3 for 35 are opponents against Ogando to begin his major league career. He's been unscored on in 11 innings. And the Ranger record to start a career is Jeff Zimmerman at 11 2/3. So 2 more outs and he'll have that tied. Unfortunately, a couple of those hits that he allowed were to allow runs to score against the ledger of Colby Lewis the other day. But Ogando's a spotless 3-0 with a 0.0.
Ogando, for the most part, has thrown quality strikes. Very consistent with his mid-90s fastball. Pretty consistent with his slider. And very tough to hit.
He is wow. He is greeted very rudely here.
Wow.
The second of the night. Jason Nix powers it out for his 4th of the year and his 2nd tonight. The Dallas resident now gives Ogando an ERA.
Well, all you can say is it's one of those nights, and if you're Ogando, you'd like to see the streak continue, but if you're going to give up a run, you might as well give it up now instead of when it's a 1-run game or you've got a 1-run lead. Nick's jumping on the fastball. He hit the fastball in the 4th inning. He hit a 2-0 fastball. This time almost the same pitch, middle of the plate in. He was trying to throw it away, but still, when it's coming 96 miles an hour, whether it's right down the middle or not, the hitter still has some work to do. And credit Jason Nix with 2 nice swings and 2 home runs tonight.
His older brother Lance, who played for the Rangers, never had a 2-home-run game in this ballpark, but now younger brother Jason has, as a member of the opposition. Wow. And just like that, 9-3 now. The Indians have indeed scored in 6 straight innings. It's a season high, 4 homers in 1 game for Cleveland. The Rangers haven't hit any tonight. Santana grounds to first, but only after the damage is done. Ogando's first run allowed. 2 scoring in the inning, 9-3 at the stretch. Tonight, they have 9 runs on 11 base hits, and the Rangers have been held to exactly what they were held to for 3 straight games against Chicago, 3 runs. Trying to make something happen with Kinsler coming up. The Indians jumping on 4 different Ranger pitchers tonight for a total of 4 home runs. The Indians not known this year as a power hitting team. Of course, they used to be when they were making the playoffs consistently in the 90s. Cleveland came in 12th in the league in hitting, 12th in pitching, dead last in fielding. But everything's clicking for him tonight, leading 9-3. Kinsler to left field. That ball heading near the line. It is fair. Kinsler's on again. But what a night he's having. 2 walks and 2 singles.
Well, he'd gotten his on-base percentage up to .404 coming into the game, and 4 times on base won't hurt that.
Smith normally real tough on righties, but Kinsler keeps it fair and brings up Vlad Guerrero. Borbone and Cruz are the only 2 hitless Rangers tonight. Vladdy pops one back into the crowd. Most of the crowd still hanging in there, hoping to see that Ranger rally tonight. Tomorrow when they come out, they're hoping to see C.J. Wilson tune one up as he is capable of doing. But Vladdy, that one almost hit him, but he was swinging. We were talking earlier, Tom, about Guerrero and that stretch he had earlier at this ballpark this year. 3 homers on 4 swings at one point. He's got a cousin named Christian Guerrero who's playing independent league ball in Gary, Indiana. And last month, I don't know if you saw this, he had 5 homers in 5 at-bats.
No, I didn't see that.
It was a double-header for Gary. Last 2 at-bats of the first game, first 3 at-bats of the next game. Taken, and he's down on strikes here.
And that's one you won't see very often. Vladdy taking strike 3.
And it continues. It's just one of those nights for the Rangers. It's probably a good sign that it is exactly that. What you said, Tom, you don't see Vladdy taking strike 3 that much.
I think he was anticipating a pitch out of the strike zone.
I can't remember a game this year where Hamilton, Cruz, and Guerrero, they've all taken called third strikes with men on base. Hamilton looping it into right, just parachutes down for a base hit to make it 2 on, 1 out. Josh is now 2 for 4. Hitting .436 since the beginning of June. That's not a classic upper deck kind of swing right there, but he's on base.
Right off the end of the bat. Smith has good velocity for a guy that's almost a submarine pitcher. His fastball can reach the 90s. Certainly when you see guys throw from that angle, they're not guys that are going to be throwing 91 miles an hour.
Cincinnati native Joe Smith. Outside to Nelson Cruz. One-time 3rd-round pick of the Mets, Mr. Smith. Cruz to right field, getting towards the corner. Is it fair? It is fair! They're going to argue. They might look at it, but for now the fireworks are in the air, and for now it's 9-6.
This one's got a great chance of being looked at.
The right fielder Kearns was yelling right away. The Rangers this year have had 2 home runs reversed on them already. Now we're looking at number 3. They're going to go look at it. That is in place now for good reason. Remember, at this ballpark earlier this year, umpires did not review one that cost Josh Hamilton a home run. It's either 9-3 or 9-6. Officially right now it's 9-6 because they did signal a home run. Nelson Cruz is already sitting in the dugout. And they have 9-6 up on the scoreboard here at the ballpark.
And Joe Smith is talking to Bob Davidson about the balk he called on him.
All right, let's see. Right to the foul pole.
That's a foul ball.
Unless it glanced off the foul pole.
Well, it doesn't look like it got rerouted. Looks like it just came down. I could have skimmed it, though.
That's what I'm thinking. Could have just skimmed it.
Could have skimmed the outside of the pole. It didn't, it didn't go from left to right sharply. But it could have just ticked the outside. Let's see. You never lose track of the ball.
They're going to reverse this, Tag. I think it skimmed right there. I really do. But the umpires don't. They just came out and said it's a foul ball.
Yeah, let's watch that again. You might be right.
I had just glanced it, but I think unless you're looking at it in super high def, you don't know. I think that hit it right there.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculously tough to see. I think it hit the very corner of that pole for a 3-run home run.
Yeah, if I'm the umpire, I think I'm making the call that they made. It's tough. It came close, boy.
Now they want to make sure of the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes is what they're asking everybody. Hopefully Bob Davidson knows this. He's in charge of keeping that. Regular speed, regular view. See if you can tell.
I think it's a foul ball, but
boy, it sure had a curl on it, didn't it?
Well, he sliced it down the right field line like that.
And now the strikeout. Wouldn't you know it? We said it earlier tonight. That kind of night.
It's just a matter of maybe an inch to the left that it does hit the foul pole. Indians have made some good pitches over the last 3 innings. Rangers have had a chance. 1 hit here, 1 hit there, and they're right back in the game, but they just haven't been able to get that hit.
Well, maybe Benji Molina can take one out and make it 9-6 after all. But again, righty on righty, that's just tough. And the power drought continues for Nelson Cruz. Look out, bat goes flying right into the first row of the stands. And thankfully everybody's okay. Wow. Right over the top of that dugout. Exhale, Dad. Good job. I can't believe they got a Benji Molina bat.
Almost got more of that bat than they bargained for. Thank goodness no one got hurt. Kind of blocked it with his side.
The guy in the blue shirt owes the guy in the red shirt. Wow. Two strikes account to Benji. Well, the Rangers have 10 hits tonight, but they're now in danger of stranding 10. They'll appeal, no swing. A Nelson Cruz home run that wasn't. Keeps his score at 9-3. Good job, Benji, hanging in there. Well, the Indians have hit 4 homers, 2 of them by Jason Nix. Not known for that at all. Broke his bat. There's a grounder to third. The Rangers end up not scoring. Boy, they came close, so, huh? Saves 9-3 at the end of 7. Chevy, a proud sponsor of youth baseball programs throughout the state of Texas. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy's commitment to youth league baseball, I know you do, go to ChevyTexasBaseball.com. Replay used to overturn a potential Ranger 3-run home run. Nelson Cruz was told foul ball, then he struck out on the next pitch. And it's still a 9-3 lead for Cleveland. Still looking for that shutdown inning here, too, Mr. Grieve. The Indians just keep on adding to it.
Well, they've scored in 6 straight innings.
After a fairly uneventful first inning, scoreless both ways. And a crazy little game tonight.
Change up there by Ogando.
Nothing.
Pretty much fastballs and sliders.
Hafner all night, though, right? Has been held in check with the off-speed stuff.
Yeah, that was a new one. Haven't seen that from Ogando very often.
Alexei giving up his first run in the big leagues last inning on a home run. There's a chopper towards second. Kinsler was playing back on the outfield grass. Comes in to get Hafner.
Back-to-back change-ups to get Hafner.
Well, the Rangers might have hit on something here with how to get Pronk out consistently. Kearns will come up. He's been hit by a couple pitches tonight. Otherwise 0 for 2. After the 21-6 June, the Rangers in danger of going 1-4 here in July. Trying to straighten that back out tomorrow with C.J. Wilson against Justin Masterson at 7:05. Wednesday, Colby Lewis and Mitch Talbot. 2 guys leading their respective teams in wins. Kearns hit for a 3rd time tonight, which will send us scurrying to the Indians record book, seeing how many times they've had a guy hit 3 times in a game. You talk, I'll scurry.
Okay. Trying to see how many times he's been hit. He's only been hit twice this season coming into this game, and now he's been hit 3 times, just barely right there. First time that he was hit, there's nothing he could do. He got drilled right in the upper arm and back area. Next time it wasn't that far inside. He got hit somewhere on the wrist or the elbow as he was trying to check his swing, and that ball just looked like it barely grazed his uniform.
All right, you ready, Tag?
I'm ready.
It's a new Cleveland Indians all-time record in the 100-odd-year history of their franchise.
Wow.
First guy ever to get hit by 3 pitches in 1 game. You've seen it tonight.
Well, it wasn't like it was Don Baylor or Ron Hunt gets hit 3 times either.
No.
He'd only been hit twice all year.
There's a first time for everything, even the Picayune. Fouled by Peralta. You never got hit more than once in a game, did you?
Not that I remember. No. Once I got hit, I came out of the game. I wasn't staying in there. No way they're going to get me twice.
Maybe the second time it hit you so hard you don't remember now. I don't think any Rangers ever been hit 3 times in a game either. Most in a season was A-Rod, his first year with the Rangers, 2001. Got hit 16 times. So look at that, Jets the strike zone. In the left field by Peralta, hit well. Hamilton back. And he's got it. You know, it's funny, Tom, some guys go years in between getting hit by pitches. Ruben Sierra was a guy like that. He had a stretch 1990 through 2008. About 6,000 at-bats. Didn't get hit by a pitch, which I just think is amazing.
Well, especially right-handed, he stepped toward third base And the only other reason would be because he had such incredible reflexes. He was getting out of the way quickly.
Mark Lemke was another guy like that with the Braves. Went about 7 or 8 years without getting hit by a pitch. And he was a little scrappy guy that would actually crowd the plate a bit, but he had the great reflexes. So Sierra once in 17 years, Kearns 3 times tonight. Which is why you gotta love baseball. It's not the only reason, but see if Ogando can keep it 9-3 here. Crowd of 25,165 started out tonight, and it is starting to thin out a little bit now. The Angels have been done for about an hour and a half. They lost 9-2 to Chicago. In the air, shallow right. 10 should be the inning. Kinsler's under it. There's a 0. Been waiting a while for that. 9-3. Cap with Michael Young's number 10 on it. Buy in advance. Tickets are going fast. TexasRangers.com or 972 Rangers. New pitcher to tell you about that is Chris Perez. He'll zing one a little bit inside here to Justin Smoke.
Yeah, when the Rangers were in Cleveland, Perez was the closer early in the season. Kerry Wood was on the disabled list. He struggled a couple of times against the Rangers.
Boy, he sure did. And look at him now. Got a great ERA.
He may be a little more comfortable as a setup guy. Kerry Wood is back as the closer now.
Now, the first time the Rangers faced Perez back on April the 12th. He came in the game, gave up a double, an error, a walk, and a hit. And was all but booed off the mound. Smoke unloads towards left. That ball carries a little bit, but racing back on it is Crow. We go to Jim Knox.
All right, Josh, time for the Progressive Fan of the Game. As you can see, Lauren, a fan favorite, right, there we go. Who's your favorite player, Lauren?
Elvis, Viva Las Vegas!
Okay, well, congratulations. Here's the bag, here's the hat, here's the shirt. Enjoy the game. Hopefully the Rangers will come back and win, all right?
Woo! Go Rangers!
Josh.
Do it for her, guys. Come on. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. And Elvis will be batting soon. In fact, like right now, because Bourbon has just bounced out. 2 down. All right, Elvis, for your newest fan. Let's get it going here. 2 for 4 is Elvis tonight. And heading to the All-Star game along with 4 other Rangers. Michael Young still hoping to go. And she wants to see the Elvis Andrus 3-hit night.
I'm pretty impressed she knows what Viva Las Vegas is.
Whoa, hey-oh. Elvis says, come on, man.
That's pretty weak. That because Kearns has been hit 3 times. Twice he didn't even try to get out of the way.
Perez isn't that wild. See? Next one's right down the middle. Well, if you're going to, I don't know, if you feel like you have to retaliate, don't actually hit the guy.
Yeah, throw it 14 feet inside like that. Fine.
Better that than actually hitting him in the ribs or something, right?
Yeah, I just don't see any need to retaliate. The kid's been hit 3 times, but, you know, 2 of them he didn't even get out of the way. The first one he just got drilled by Omar, who was having trouble throwing strikes. So it doesn't seem like there was much intent involved there.
Elvis goes around, and that's the inning. Disappointing night all the way around tonight. Indians 9, and the Rangers 3. Cold hard blast. You got Dustin Nippert. That was in the 4th. And then they got a guy who had never given up a run in the major leagues. Alexei Ogando's first pitch, he hit it out. Doubling his home run total for the year, Jason Nix. Now Darren O'Day takes over with that fantastic 1.65 ERA. Both teams have stranded 10 tonight, Tag, but well, the Indians have found a way to score 9 times. The Rangers have not.
The Indians have had a lot of rallies tonight.
A new third baseman for the Rangers, too. Michael Young will get an inning off. Here's Andres Blanco. And it shall be he to lead off the 9th inning. Story of the game early, the Rangers' inability to throw strikes. It started with Omar Beltre, who lasted only 3 innings tonight. Aaron Laffey didn't exactly set the world on fire. He was out of the game after 4 1/3 because of 101 pitches, but he made some big pitches when he needed to. As you guys said earlier, you and Steve Busby kind of effectively wild.
Yeah, it just cost him so many pitches he wasn't around to qualify for the win.
Sky-high pop-up from Trevor Crow. Elvis Andrews has got it. We go say hello for the first time to Dana Larson.
Hi, Josh and Tom. We want everyone to stay along with us for Rangers Live, the post-game show coming up right after the game. We will have good news to report as we show you the Angels highlights from earlier tonight. Also, we will continue the Vote for Michael Young campaign as we try to get him to Anaheim for the All-Star game. Steve Busby will join me. He will answer your Text the Analyst questions, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow's start with C.J. Wilson. It's all coming up right after the game, guys.
Very cool. Thank you, Dana. Talk to you then. Well, we go back to what we were talking about, Tag, of the Rangers' first 150 pitches tonight. Only 75 of them were strikes. Exactly half. Been better since then. And by then, the damage was done. Rangers will end up throwing close to 200 pitches tonight. We'll see if O'Day can be the guy to finally neutralize Jason Donald. This number 9 hitter has been on base 4 times. Rangers without a home run tonight, although Nelson Cruz sure came close. He had one overturned. Fourth time ever replay's been used at this ballpark.
Good job laying off that one by Donald. He has a swing at that tempting pitch. Just keeps breaking away. Starts out looking good. He was able to check his swing.
O'Day steers in the 2-2. And it's fouled back. It's the 4th straight game the Rangers have scored 3 runs, exactly 3, since they have come back from Anaheim. And again, right before this little stretch, there were 13 games in a row where they had at least 4. A lot of times that number was 6, 7, or 8. Crunched in the left center field. What a night for Jason Donald. On his way to second base. 4 hits tonight, a career high, plus a walk. This is a .270 hitter down at AAA. On base 5 times tonight.
Center fielder Michael Brantley.
He hung in there. He laid off a tough pitch. He fouled off a tough pitch. And then he jumped on the pitch on the inside corner. Good night.
Good night to be an Arizona Wildcat, Tom. Ian Kinsler, who's been on base 4 out of 4. Donald, 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
So Tucson representing right now. Up 9 times and on 9 times. That one sliding inside to Brantley. No other Indian has more than 2 hits. No Ranger has more than 2 hits tonight. Andrews has that total. Same for Kinsler, same for Hamilton. Pass the mound, and Kinsler gobbles it up. Out number 2. Donald goes to third. Another chance for Jason Nix. Already a 2-homer night.
Second baseman Jason Nix.
Both of the Knickses now apply their craft in the state of Ohio. Lance with the Cincinnati Reds. You see who's going to the All-Star game from the Reds? Arthur Rhodes is going. The Waco native.
Arthur Rhodes. I didn't even notice Arthur's season this year.
1.03 ERA is that setup man. And kind of like what Matt Thornton is doing, representing the AL, is that lefty 8th inning guy. What the Rangers were hoping Darren Oliver would slide into. Thornton got it instead. But yeah, Arthur Rhodes will take that role for the NL. First time All-Star. He's been going at it for a long time. And the Reds, along with the Padres, continue to be the Cinderella stories in the National League. The Rangers don't believe they are a Cinderella story. They thought they were good right out of spring training. What stories did they tell about up-and-coming teams before Cinderella? Any idea?
I don't know. Cinderella goes back a long way.
Yeah, that is true. Before baseball?
That I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't go back before baseball.
And I don't go back before Cinderella, so. Wave and a miss by Knicks, 2-2. Now the diehards are still hanging in there. 3.5-hour game. Hoping their Rangers can come up with a huge bottom of the 9th. Popped him up. Andrews will make the call. And the catch. The Rangers need that big inning, and they need it now. 9-3 Cleveland. Progressive for a money-saving car insurance quote. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. And by the Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Ranger fans hanging in, hoping for that big-time rally. Fourth straight game. They scored exactly 3 runs. They'll need much more than that. Andres Blanco will come up against Hector Ambriz, getting into his 18th game, the rookie. Rule 5 pick away from Arizona. Former UCLA Bruin. And the Rangers, having not seen this guy before, will take him for a spin here. It'll be Blanco, then Kinsler and Guerrero. Rangers needed 5 pitchers to get through tonight. Indians, same story. The only Ranger with a 0 in the runs column tonight of those 5 pitchers was Darren O'Day. The last of the guys to take the mound. Beltre started, and he would take the loss in his second big league game. Laffey did not pitch long enough to win. Frank Herman followed. Boy, he pitched well when he needed to. There's Blanco to right field, down for a base hit. Plays it safely with the team down 6. His first at bat tonight results in a single. Turns on him.
Talked about Jason Donald been on base 5 times. He ain't going to try to duplicate that tonight.
Going back to the reliever, Frank Herman. He came on when the game was a lot closer. Hamilton, the tying man, struck him out. Cruz followed as a tying man, struck him out too.
Yeah, I think the pitch to Hamilton was the biggest pitch of the game because it was borderline at best. And if that's not a strike, it might have been an entirely different inning. And might not have been, but I'd like to see what would have happened if it was called a ball.
The other thing that hurt the Rangers tonight, obviously, was the overturned home run. Nelly Cruz trying to tuck it inside that foul pole. The optimists thought that maybe it grazed the foul pole going by. What could have been a 3-run homer to make it 9-6 was wiped away, so it stays 9-3. And Tattoo Guy ends up with a souvenir. It was a nice Monday night crowd to start tonight, more than 25,000. Some restraint from Kinsler. As you said, on base 4 times tonight. Trying to make it 5, but nice play at short, though. They get the one out there. Blanco trips over second base. If that had gone as a base hit, Ian would have moved into 3rd place in the league in on-base percentage, but he's going to stay 4th right now, behind Morneau, Cabrera, and Euclid. Boy, Donald's doing it all here. Here's Vladdy, 1 out of 4, and he had another one, Tom, that boy off the bat looked like it might have been a tying swing, a deep fly ball in the 3rd when it was 4-1, 2 men on.
I think there's a lot of games where that would have been a home run. Certain nights where the ball carries to center and right center field, but it didn't appear that the ball was carrying in that direction like it does some nights.
He didn't feel the double play depth. Josh Hamilton on deck. We've seen some taken strikes from Vladdy tonight. A lot more than usual. Even one for a called 3rd strike. The last one I remember him taking for a called 3rd strike in this ballpark, Tom, is the one that ended the game against the Cubs. That's the big Vladdy swing right there. Doesn't have an RBI yet tonight. Stays at 70 for the year. 20 more than he had all last year. Well, if it's not a double play off the bat of Vlad, the fans will get rewarded for their loyalty tonight. Hanging around, they'll get to see another Josh Hamilton swing. Back to the net it goes. Guys love smelling that bat after the foul ball.
Vlad does it all the time.
With the runner on, the 2-2 is fouled one more time. C.J. Wilson on the mound tomorrow. Big Justin Masterson going for Cleveland. 7:05 first pitch. Hope you can come on out. If you can't, the game's right here on Fox Sports Southwest, with Rangers Live opening things up at 6:30. Big swing and did not get it. 2 out. Josh Hamilton will come up. The Rangers looking like they're going to drop to 48-34. They'll stay 3.5 up on the Angels, who lost by a very similar score tonight. Hamilton got his hit tonight back in the 4th, added another in the 7th, running his home hitting streak to 25 in a row. Record for this ballpark. And it'll take aim at Al Oliver's record of 30 for the franchise. 30 in a row at the old ballpark. Kinsler gets going. And no challenge. That's defensive indifference, allowing him to trot on in the second. Josh with his 20th home run of the year last night. If you were here about a month and a half ago, you might know that really he's got 21. He had the one that was not reviewed and should have been. When is a double? If that costs Josh the major league lead in home runs at the end of the year, that'd be too bad. Because right now he is down by just 1. Nelson Cruz would be next if Hamilton can get on. He was taken 3 in the count 2-1. Now he's swinging, grounder to first. The Indians take the opener of this series. Took a while, but they do win it. Their final here at the ballpark is 9-3. Rangers Live is straight ahead. Stay tuned for that. The Rangers still 3.5 games up in the AL West because the Angels lost. But again, your final tonight, Cleveland 9 and Texas 3.